Well, all right. It looks like we're, 3 seconds into this. And hi, everybody. We're live.
Hey, no
We
broadcasting for
did
me today,
it.
guys, but that's okay. I'll figure it out. I'll sort that
Well,
out.
we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hello,
ditto.
everybody. It's so good to see you guys. What's going on?
So good to see you, too. This week has already just been like 9 buckets of crazy for me. Like every time I turn around, we need more crap going on. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah. Tell me about it. Like, it's been so bonkers for me, like, in every category of life. And I'm like, could everybody just take a breath? Let's just all
Calm your
just come
shit.
down about 3 notches.
Hmm.
Maybe let's have a break here and let's just regroup.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not working at all.
I've done
I
the complete polar opposite. I've decided to go, balls to the wall, and not take any kind of breaths. And I think it's working. I don't know. I've decided that I'm not going to stop. So I've done the polar opposite of what Allie did.
You're just gonna go balls to the wall the whole time, not breathe. 6 lines of cocaine. Let's see how it ends.
Let's do this. Oh, by the way, I with celebration, I am going to the platform convention. I got my ticket today.
Oh, nice.
I was
Are
a
you as a
little,
delegate or
yeah, as a
a
delegate.
guest? Oh, for who?
Uh, Hunters and anglers. I
Oh,
mean,
Jason O'Neill.
obviously,
Well done.
what does that mean? Wh-
So
So
this is a. I'll give you some history on platform and plank so you understand what it is.
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because every year the state party has a convention, but it alternates each year on what it is. Because did you just fall asleep, Kari?
Me? No, I'm talking
Yeah.
to my daughter, and I'm doing this as we talk. Like I'm doing my little.
Oh, it's. I heard this. I heard. And you did that, and I was like,
If you guys,
you fell
yeah,
asleep.
if that's too much, I can turn that off.
Okay. So anyway, so every other year is the two different conventions. The first type of convention that we have, which is not this year, is the party rules, and that's also where we elect new leadership and all of that. So that happened last year. That's where Shannon O'Brien was elected. That's where the new board was elected. You can complain all you want, but anyway, um,
Oh, are you
and
fucking
that
kidding me?
and that happened last year. This year is called Plank and Platform. So this is where we decide what is happening, that are the policies that the Democrats would like to see implemented, how we see the world, how we treat people, how we write
Okay.
laws, all that sort of thing. So that's what Plank and Platform is. And so when you're going as a delegate to Plank and Platform, you get a chance to be a part of the process to actually write the planks, which are individual topics, which become the platform for the party. And so on each of those, and I'm sure hunters and anglers are going to have a whole bunch about making sure that data centers are not destroying the land, destroying the water, killing fish, killing animals, making noise, light pollution, putting PFAS into the world, all that sort of stuff. So that's, I'm sure, going to be a big part of it because that is one of the things that, our friend Kari, she's a little bit focused on, maybe like
Pretty
laser
passionate.
line,
Yeah.
like line of cocaine focused on. And which is a great thing. Here's the thing, that there are a lot of people out there that are talking about how uh, the parties as a whole, the Republican and the Libertarian, Democrat, whatever, are not responsive to the public. And this is one of the ways where we
Mm-hmm.
can prove that they are responsive to the public, because these are Democratic people. They're involved either in local politics through the central committees. They're in one of the partner organizations, which is like Montana Stonewall Democrats. The several of the unions are partner organizations, with hunters and anglers are partners organizations, LCW, those sorts of things. They're all there. And there is conflict between them because they all have specific goals that they're trying to do. But this is where we iron it out. We go, well, this is what kind of works for everybody. So this is a good time for everybody to get involved in the process, where it's not lawmaking, but it is a lot of work to get to the point where everybody can say, no, I support this. This is actually good. And
Mm-hmm.
it's exhausting. Like, I've been to Plank and Platform several times. And in fact, the last time we did Plank and Platform was the first one I had missed in a decade. And it's a lot of work. At one point, we had the staff go through and, with the help of several legislators, go through and edit our Plank and Platform down because it was like 65 pages long.
Oh my god!
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, it
Were you
sounds
guys
like
it's
herding
there all
cats. I'm not
day?
gonna lie.
Oh,
Like, It
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 sounds a
sounds like,
lot
is.
like herding cats. Yeah.
well, it can be, but here's the thing. This is how you can see that leadership is actually doing something, because when you have right now our plugin platform, I think it's 17 pages long. It's not terrible. It might be 28. But it wasn't bad. Like I read it in like 20 minutes.
Hmm.
But what is it is the direction the party's going to go. And when you say you are a Democrat, you want to align with most of the blanket platform, if not
Yep.
all of it.
Hmm.
And there's definitely parts where the blanket platform will say things where I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm not 100% behind it, but I'm not going to stand in the way of it. There are other times where I'm like, yeah, no, that's terrible, and we should have removed that. This is our chance to fix those things as we're going forward. And times change. Remember, the blanket platform for the Democratic Party as a whole on the national level, and Montana specifically, did not include equal marriage rights until 2011
Hmm.
as an
Hmm.
actual goal for the party.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and also remember that when Barack Obama was elected, he did not support equal marriage when he
He
was
did
elected.
not.
By
Right.
his second and third year in is when that change happened. And so these things change. Like we're always fighting for change,
Yeah.
always to make it better. So it's never perfect. It's always work. What happens periodically is that we get to the point where we have the blanket platform. How many planks do we have? Enough to rebuild the ship of Theseus 45 times. Maybe we should edit. That's a thing. And
I
so
think it's going
as
to be
we do
really
that,
interesting, though. Like, it has to be really interesting because there's such division in the party right now. And so I think
and
it's
well,
going to be really
okay,
interesting to
so
see
here's the
such
thing.
top. Hold on, let me finish.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out now that we've seen some top former party officials come out and support an independent over supporting the Democratic candidate. We saw that with
Mhm.
Nancy Keegan yesterday, and then of course Tester. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects the direction of the party.
Yeah,
I don't think the Golden
yeah.
Boys are going to be there. This is boring. The Golden Boys are really good, like when it comes to like the campaign stuff. When it comes to like this nerdy stuff, and sorry, Kevin, this is super nerd. Like this is like nerdy, nerdy. Like we're gonna fight constantly that whole day. Anna or the distant. You fight over words the whole day. So no, I don't think that the Golden Boys will be on this one. I think that they skip this one completely. And I'm excited for this one because this is the first time I wasn't staff. I get to
Oh,
actually be a participant. I'm so
fair.
excited for this.
Um, I actually think that this. I don't. I mean, there are times definitely where it's like, do we want to do and or? Do we need a colon, a semicolon, or a comma? Jesus fucking Christ.
I
Um,
know.
but um, I really am excited because it is also a chance to do things like there was at one point the and I can't remember exactly what it said, but I believe what it was is something about, and we want to protect the transgendered. Oh my, you know what? I'm gonna have a moment, and it's going to involve
Okay.
backhand.
Thank you for the thought. Let's alter the and or. Let's get our legalese in order, please.
Right, and so there's a little bit of that goes on, and so like Stonewall Dems has been around. Basically, Stonewall Dems has been around for going on 15 years now, but it's been around to be a group that goes in and makes sure that other groups that are trying to be helpful to the queer community are not inadvertently being homophobic or transphobic with their
Ugh,
language, which is
that's
always a
awesome.
delight. It's like,
That's
oh,
Yeah.
always
that was a
oh
Was
choice.
helpful because language now is changing so fast and
Hmm.
it is so difficult to keep up with. And so, right when you think that you are on the right page, now all of a sudden it's not the right page anymore. And so it's
Right,
like,
and
okay, that can be really difficult to keep up with. So that's a good idea
mm-hmm.
to have people who
yeah, and
are
so that's
in the
that's what
community. Yeah, go ahead.
and that's why we have it every 2 years. It's not something that we do every 5 years or 10 years or something,
Hmm.
because language just changed that fast. Just go ahead. Sorry if
Can
I'm
I say
talking over you.
something?
Please
No, no,
just
no,
tell me to
no,
shut the
don't
fuck up.
be. No, no, no. I want to be very clear when because I know people are watching this. I support the 4-year moratorium. I'm only going along with this shit because the platform rules say that I can only do a 2-year moratorium. I am only doing the 2-year moratorium to play fair. So if that's not true, I swear to God, I will go numb. I will go
Well, here's
crazy.
the thing. Here's the thing. I don't know that you have to put in a timeline on it. I think you can just say we support a moratorium on data centers until such
Okay.
time as they're there. And then I wouldn't put a timeline on it. I'd just say we're gonna pause until we get the shit together. Like,
Love it.
honestly, that's a smarter thing to do, because then when we come back to Plinkett Platform in 2 years and we go, hey, we asked for a moratorium on this, it was a smart thing to do. We still need it, and we don't have to put a timeline on it. Or, hey, we did this, the AI bubble fucking burst, everybody's broke. Those buildings are empty, but they're not in our state. We could just leave this in here and not worry about it. We don't have to fuck with it because they might come back, but we think they're dead, and just leave it like that.
I love
Well, the
that.
important thing is that this
That I
is
love.
really a great opportunity to serve the majority of Montanans, no matter what their party
Mhm.
is. Data
Well,
centers is that issue that everybody is pretty well united on for the most part. And so it's a good opportunity to really address the majority of Montanans exactly where they're at on something that they're passionate about.
Well, and to be clear, this is a good way to address them. And while it is for the majority of Montanans, it is a statement of who we are for Democrats.
Mhm.
And that is a very important thing for Democrats to be able to point to. And here's the one thing that I love when people are asking me about, why are you running? Because I was raised Republican. My parents are Republican. Most of my friends and the friend groups that I grew up with that I'm still friends with today are Republican. They're probably conservative. Maybe they're independent, but they lean towards that side. And they always ask me why I'm not a Republican. And I can literally just pull up their Plankin platform and go, they think I should be dead. So fuck right off. And
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
really easy. And it's also when they go, well, why are you a Democrat? I can point to the several things that are key to my life and go, this is why. And that's the thing that I think people forget, because this is the time where we get to set who the party is. And
This
the
is the
party
time
is
where we get
anybody
to
who wants to be
shine.
there. Exactly.
Yes.
And it's a chance for everybody to go in there. And there are rules about how it's done. And yes, it's a lot of work. And yes, there's arguments over random punctuation. Do we need an apostrophe, or should we be using 3 pipes and a strawberry emoji? I will punch you.
Like how it feels. We were at for the Yellowstone Downs.
Mhm.
We stayed. I finally walked out at like 12:40. I was like, okay, it's my anniversary. I got to at least give my husband a kiss on our anniversary, And I think they stayed till about 2. And I was like, you guys have a dedication that I wish I had. Like I was just staying there till Jack from Northern Plains left. And then when he left, I was like, okay, time to go. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but it was crazy what they were fighting. And you know what they kept saying, Kev? You're gonna love this. They kept saying, okay, well, at the convention, we'll talk about that. At the convention. So we're gonna talk about commas. We're gonna talk about semicolons. We're gonna talk about it's common. Yellowstone County is gonna at least add 10 hours onto this platform just over
So
commas.
here's the thing. They can't, because each of the planks has a specific amount of time to get
Oh,
adjusted and
good.
finalized. That's the first day. The second day is where we go through and we add them all. We vote on them as a group, as a whole, to add them to the full platform. And remember, if somebody makes something that is too weird, it will be voted down by the group as a whole. So just
Okay,
because you got it
good.
done in plank doesn't mean that it's added to the platform completely. It could still fail. The other thing to
Okay.
remember is, and this is critical for anybody who's going, I think it's one of the things that people need to remember. You can make a suggestion for any plank. If you are not there to present it, it does not get presented, it dies. You must be there, or a
Oh.
proxy for you must be there to present it. And so there are times when there are there's generally 4 planks going at the same time, because we do have a lot of them. So you have to pick which one you're going to. If you've got one that's an adjust, you have to go to that one. If you've got the one that you want to do and you've got 2 others you want to be, you go to the one that you want to do, and then you can move over to others after, because if you're not there to present it, it's gone. And
Thank
part
you.
of
I
that
would have
is
known
just
that.
part of that is just efficiency, because otherwise, yes, we'd be there from June 20th, 2026 till the end of the fucking universe. It's like
Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly.
it's like
How long is the
we're on to
convention?
plank
Infinity.
we're on to plank number 2 now, and we've reached the heat death of the universe.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about data centers being too hot, because we can't even fire up atoms.
We did it
I'll be in the
ourselves.
nursing home and they'll say it's snack time or bingo time, and I'll be like, "Nah, we're not on plank 2 yet."
We haven't finished plank 1.
I cannot
So anyway,
wait.
that sounds really cool. It sounds like it's an opportunity where almost anything goes. Is that correct?
No, it is not an opportunity where anything goes. You can present anything, but it has to be on a topic.
Mm-hmm.
We have something came in today, apparently, from one of the central committees, and it's about transportation. I don't know what it entails, but it's a plank that we haven't had. So I don't know what's going on there. I think Cari just froze herself or something.
Just answering a question.
Mm,
Oh,
Jamie Woodman asked if we were going live, and I was like, "Go look at Kev's accounts." That's what I told her.
yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll
um,
be interesting to see what comes out of that. It's interesting because well, I work in transportation. And so I recognize how important it can be, but also what a challenge it can be in rural areas.
oh yeah, it's
It's infinitely
terrible.
easier here in city life than it is to have, say, paratransit out in rural areas. Not to say that we don't do it, not to say that we don't do it well, but to say that it's a real challenge, but also a real need, especially now that rural healthcare is under attack and a lot of our hospitals are probably not going to make it.
Ooh, they're gonna close.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
and
gosh.
and that's just it. This is a chance for us to really sit down and say, these are our goals. These are the things that we'd like to see. We don't have to do it in legalese. It's not. We need to make sure that 17% of the budget goes to blah 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 blah. What we can say is we need to make sure that rural hospitals are available, that healthcare is accessible to the people of Montana where they fucking live.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, and we can put it in more plain and specific language then, because we can say things that we actually mean, as opposed to the legalese that you have to do when you're writing a bill. So it is a lot more freeing in that way. There is a lot that happens in this that is um well, there's a lot that happens in this that's frustrating, where it's like, what the hell is this going on? But also there's a lot that happens in this where you get to go, oh, I can make a change because I could choose to move this one thing that is an area that I'm focused on, and I can make it correct in the way that I think it should be. And that's very satisfying. We've done this a couple, 3 times. And like I said, there was the one time when the staff did the edit. And I know that Mary Cafaro was involved in that. I think Marianne Dunwell was involved in that. I believe Jill Cohenauer was involved in that. It's all the women. The women are always cleaning up after the men. Sorry. Um, the they went through
Carrie's like, yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
sorry. The gays are over here with glitter going blah 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 blah. Whatever.
But that's
Um,
okay. We like that. We like that. We're good at the games. It's the other ones.
we're gonna make the glitter, and if you have a problem with it, we're gonna make more. Um,
Just
so they
learn to
went
sparkle. You got to just learn to sparkle. That's all.
exactly. They went through and edited down all of the individual planks to what they thought the actual focus was, the actual meaning. So a lot of the planks went from 2 and 3 pages long to a paragraph, which was fantastic because it took plank and platform. Like we had to go through and go, this was the original, this is the edited, is it okay? And some people had some adjustments that they wanted to go in that they had presented as well. And I know that the planks actually, those were really efficient, really well, really fast, because when they're shorter and clearer, it's easier to say, yes, this is something I can stand behind. And so we're starting to get a little wordy in our plank platform. I think this is probably the last year where we're going to have this particular stack of things. I think next year we'll have to do another edit run, or 2 years from now, we'll have to do another edit run where we
Mm.
literally go through and cascade it down. And that's part of the process. I mean, we've done that, I think, about every 8 years. Because I don't know if you met Democrats, the fuckers talk.
I was like,
Hmm.
A bit loquacious. Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay, so
loquacious.
question. So I
Uh-huh.
think we know what Miss Carrie's going to go for when she gets there. What are you
Carrie is
going to
obviously going
propose?
to go for. We need to talk about the rights of squirrels and grouse.
Yeah,
clearly,
right.
yes. Save the squirrels. No,
Right.
That's right.
I did put in that. This is what I did put in the farms and ag protect farms. That was one thing we didn't have in the platform, and I was like, I got protect farms in there. I'm so good. But yeah, I
I
will
thought
go
we had
after flood for data centers. So let's go.
I I anybody who's in there that tries to protect data centers, to be clear, and I'm going to ask you this: do you mean all data centers or do you mean AI data centers? Because there is a difference.
I'm talking hyperscale data centers.
Thank you. And that we need to be clear on because I know somebody has submitted some stuff and he wants to ban all data centers, and I'm like, every bank in this state has a data center for their transactions in this state. That
Well,
is
I'm
not a
okay.
problem.
Wait, hold on. I'm okay moving forward if we ban data centers, and I don't care what kind of data centers they are. I'm okay with that. I'm not saying like, let's go back and let's rip off the one from CenturyLink out of their building. But I'm
What
just
are you
saying
doing?
it's my lights.
Oh, okay.
I love my lights. So yeah, no, I want a full ban. So that's, but if I have to do, I'll stick with my 4-year moratorium, but I would like a full ban.
So this
So,
brings
but
about
here's
a good question, if I can ask
okay,
really quick.
sure.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But there is a part of the debate around data centers is size, indeed. So, like, I think everybody is pretty united on the idea that the 5,000 square foot or 5,000
Yeah.
acre one in Broadview is like a hell no. But
Right.
then there are a lot of people who say the much smaller one in Butte by the Sabi Corporation maybe is a little less ambiguous. And I'm like,
I'm sorry.
I
I
don't think
misspoke.
so.
I misspoke. I'm sorry. I apologize. We need to do a ban on how much, like, if they're going to ask for a certain kind of power, ban. If you're going to
Right.
ask for, what is it like? I think we put it in the platform now that we're talking about it. I want to say like 25 megawatts or something like that. So if they ask above that, then it's a ban. So we're not going off like the hyperscale. We're just going off how much megawatts they're going to ask from us.
Yeah, how much power are you
Which
going to
is
take? How much
which is
water are
Yeah.
you going to use? Yeah.
Yep.
right. Well, and I think that they should be banned from using water. They can be air cooled.
Oh, according to
Sorry.
Bob Morris, who's so full of shit and talks to the Chamber of Commerce all the time and Frontier Institute. All of a sudden, I never heard this until like 2 months ago when the guy was lying, but he was saying that if it's 80 degrees and below, then they don't use any water. There's no water cooling system. It's just there's no evaporation. It all works perfectly if it's 80 degrees and below outside. Never have I heard that in any of my time doing this stuff. He is so full of shit, his eyes are
Because
brown.
it's not true.
It's not true. And
So,
Todd O'Hare keeps a hold of him because he's got his thumb on him.
okay.
Hi, Todd.
So, so it becomes one of those. This is where words become a problem because you want to be clear on what you're talking about. So
And
data centers,
that's why we went to the megawatts, just so you
right?
know. So we took
Exactly.
that whole thing
Because
out.
because like the banking data centers are literally like Opportunity Bank has one here in Helena and it's at one of their banks. It's not like it's that big of a thing. It's just it happens to be in one of their banks. And I think it's using I don't know, 17 megawatts, 18 megawatts is not that much. Is what they got.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big circuit. It might be a 50 megawatt circuit that they have, but a 50 megawatt circuit is, to be clear, like when I do Pride, the stage that we use with the screen on the back and the generator for the lights and the sound system and all that, that's a 50 megawatt.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Wow.
50 watt. It's a 50-watt port, not megawatt. It's a 50-watt port. So
Okay.
there's a lot of energy that goes into that, and it's not that much. Like it's not megawatts; it's just watts. So my take on it, if you're doing megawatts, you're asking. I mean, a megawatt is 1,000 watts. That's a lot.
That's a
But the
lot.
data centers that you have for banking, or the data centers that you have for sales systems for like grocery stores that are based in Montana, whatever, and to do inventory, that sort of stuff. Those are actually pretty small. They're 2 or 3 servers, maybe 10. They're doing a lot of individual transactions, passing things in and out and keeping track of stuff. They're not using that much energy. They are still technically data centers. So we do need to make sure that people can do the business that they need to do in Montana. But these AI mega scale data centers where they're like, we're going to be able to take a picture of you and make you blink with 3 eyes. Hello, cat. Um,
Hold on.
and
Let me. Guys,
Cat's
hold
like,
on.
I'm
Go
gonna be
ahead.
on the
We
screen.
have a guest spot. We have a guest today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, my mom is sitting down. She never does that. So whenever I do, I gotta just go ahead, Kev. I'm sorry. I'll get
Yeah,
him out.
no, that's fine. So we have to be a little bit clear about that because I don't want to stop businesses like Town Pump is based in Montana. They have
Mhm.
a data center that runs all of their internal stuff. It's in Butte and it's pretty large, but it's actually doing business. It's not doing AI slot bullshit. So,
Mhm.
I don't think we need to ban that at all. And I think that that's something that we need to be careful of. But building a data center for the sake of having a data center, no, no,
Yeah.
no. We don't
No.
need to
Mhm.
have a hyperscale production. There is no need in the state of Montana to have a 5,000-acre building. Like, sorry, that's a fucking farm.
And then on
Mhm.
top of 40,000 acres for the solar panels.
I just,
Yeah.
so I got asked this yesterday. I'm gonna back up because I love doing the PSC videos and explaining what's going on. I haven't done one today, so I figured we do this first and then I'll think of
They've
something
been
to do.
so helpful, I have to tell you.
But
They really have. Because nobody,
the
Honestly.
I
PS
especially have no idea what the PSC does.
Well, nobody does. It's the race that everybody forgets about. But the PSC actually has the ability to stop the data centers of cold because here's what they could do to Northwestern Energy. You can have any customer you want. However, to serve them electricity, they have to pay for both the connection bandwidth and the production of that electricity that they're going to use, and no expense can be passed on to any other consumer. So no matter what their demand is, they have to pay for it. And that'll stop them right off the bat because what they're doing in other states is they're able to go, well, we're putting this in. We now have more demand, so we're able to charge you more for electricity. No, that's artificial demand, and you're doing it as a monopoly. You can jump in a box of razor blades and dip yourself in lemon juice because that's going to be less painful than what it's going to be like having to deal with me. So get it together. But that requires the PSC to be somebody to step up and to have people on it to go, let's talk about what a monopoly is allowed to do. One of the things that I love, a history lesson for you all, because you all remember the phone company, right?
Yep. My grandma was an operator.
My entire family worked in various parts of the Ma Bell and the Mountain Bell and AT&T, all of it. And one of the things that they did is from monopoly services, meaning anything that was regulated as a utility, they could only use 8% of their revenue, which was limited, to pay their executive team. So, in order to pay the executive team the millions of dollars that they ended up wanting to pay them, they had to have business outside of the monopoly. And they did it in a very interesting way. They founded Bell Labs. And what did they do? They invented shit and patented it and rented the patents to other people and or licensed them. And in licensing them to other people, they had that revenue so they could pay their executives more money because they weren't allowed to do it on the backs of the people that were paying for phones. And that fundamentally is what we could be doing with Northwestern Energy. We can say you can continue to be here. You can absolutely continue to be the electrical company for most of the state of Montana. However, from residential energy, the most amount that you can pay to your executives, 8%, and we're capping the amount at what it is right now until such time as commercial costs go above it. End of
Yep.
discussion. Because there's no reason that commercial is less. There's no reason that we have four different types of energy charges because a kilowatt's a kilowatt, it's a kilowatt. Unless you're an asshole and Northwestern Energy. And so if you're charging for a house and right next to it is commercial and commercial's paying half what the house is paying, I have a problem with that. I have a huge problem with that.
Well,
So
and
they're
I
using
have to
the
be
And
same
the
really honest.
property
guidelines.
Like, I'm really
taxes.
suspicious of the. Hold on just a second, Carrie, and then I'll
No, no, you're
hush.
good.
I am really suspicious of why they are not revealing more details of their merger with Black Hills Co-op, because I feel like the Black Hills Co-op is going to be some kind of a legal loophole where they're able to now get around the PSC because they're now somehow as an entity different. Maybe they route things through Black Hills, or maybe
It's
they.
not a co-op; it's a corp.
Okay,
So
sure,
yeah, I would. That just
yeah,
triggered. I was like, wait, they're not a co-op, are they? No, they're a corporation.
yeah. No, I think you're
So
right. I just get it confused, but yeah, I think like I'm concerned that they're going to use that to circumvent the PSC, because now they'll just route everything through Black Hills Corp instead of,
well,
you know what I'm
so the
saying?
way the way it works is that as soon as it comes into the state of Montana and it is
Hmm.
a defined utility, we can
Hmm.
still regulate it. So they could say, well, we're now based in South Dakota, So you don't get to do that. No, that's not how it works. Like we'd take them to court and we'd win. It'd be easy.
What
That's a simple
about
one.
what about the we have like 90%, like, we own it, but then we'll go to 30% of the decision making. Like right now we have 90% decision making. And then if this merger goes through, then we'd only get like a 30% decision making. Would that kind of maybe play into what she just said? Or is it what you just said? That's it. You come into our
I'm
state.
I'm not sure. So is it? Are you trying to say that when they're merged, that the new entity will only have 30% of it from Northwestern Energy?
No,
Okay,
no, no.
that's an all.
So,
Oh,
oh, sorry, hun. So like on the board. So like right
oh,
now, when we say boom, we've got a 90%, like that's our force, right? But then once this merger goes through, then we only get like a 30% like say and like, you know what I mean, on that
okay.
board. Like does that
So
make sense?
on the board of the merged company between the two of them, 30% are coming from Northwestern Energy, 60% are coming from Black Hills, and so the new board would be built that way. That doesn't affect how the PSC works at all because we have nothing to do with that board. That board is them saying we are a publicly traded company. We sell shares. We have to have a board of directors to give direction to the company based off the needs of the shareholders. We're not shareholders as the PSC.
Mm-hmm.
The PSC looks at it and goes, "Oh, you're owned by shareholders, and because you are not owned by this ties into what you were just talking about, Allie, because you are not owned by your customer base, which is what a co-op is." So a co-op, and there's so much about co-ops I love. So because you're not owned by your customer base, you are a monopoly that is then regulated by the PSC. So we actually then look at the board and go, "That's cute." No, and they have to listen to us. So that's fun. Um,
Okay.
Co-ops. So here's the thing. One of the statistics that my delightful opponent, Annie Bukacek, the somehow a doctor but doesn't understand science. Uh,
Imagine that.
I know. She keeps talking about
It's somewhere
how
at the intersection of religion and science. I'm guaranteeing you is where she's getting lost,
it's
and I don't
somewhere at
even
the
know who you're talking about.
it's somewhere at the intersection of religion and oh my god, a cliff. Um, so
Whoopsie woo! Yeah.
yeah, she's terrible. Anyway, um, she keeps talking about how Montanans overall have one of the lowest electrical rates in the state, and we do. But that's only if you take all of the co-ops and add them into what people inside of the regulated utilities pay, because the co-ops are so fucking low. And that's because they're owned by the people that are going to pay into it. So they're like, no, I don't want to screw myself over. We'll pay enough for the people that work here and pay them a fair wage, but I'm not going to load up an executive with $1 billion. They can fuck right off. So the co-ops have really, really low, the lowest rates in the country. And because of that, when you do the statistics statewide on Montana ratepayers, our statistics show us as paying less. But the thing is that if you pull Northwestern out and just look at what Northwestern pays versus what co-ops pay, we're one of the highest in the nation.
Oh.
And that's because Northwestern has on a regular basis been allowed to pillage. That's all there is to it. They've been allowed to pillage.
So I have another question then. So
Uh-huh.
now I know forgive me, I'm just junkie public. I don't know anything about this stuff. So I'm just asking questions. Hopefully this is resonating with
Everybody
people who don't know. Right.
everybody has these questions.
Right. And so now, as part of my Northwestern Energy bill, I pay for both electric and natural gas or
Hmm.
gas. I'm
Oh.
assuming it's natural gas. And
Yeah.
so they have proposed, I've heard a proposal for the Broadview Center to put in a new natural gas substation to create the energy for
Hmm.
that huge data center. Will Northwestern Energy control that also?
Uh, if they put it so that it attaches to the grid, Northwestern will. But Cari, you want to chime in here on what they're trying to do there?
7,235 megawatts. Go to Laurel, Montana. Look at that natural gas. Sorry, Allie, this shit pisses me off.
That's
And I
okay.
also want to be very honest. Like, I am getting on my fucking soapbox for this one, Jess Peterson. So Jess Peterson tried to pretend he didn't know who I was in Broadview. Oh my God, it was
Okay, hold
hysterical.
on. Stop just a second. Who is Jess Peterson and why is this person relevant?
So he's relevant because he comes from the Billings Chamber of Commerce. So he's like an all cowboy type of guy, right? Like if you like look at him, you're like, that guy's a rancher, he's a farmer, he's an ag. He fucking lies to these guys. He owns a PR firm called Western Sky Strategies. And so this is his client. These are his clients, okay? Quantica has never come out and been honest about anything. The only reason they hold these weekly meetings now is because they came to my meeting and they saw the energy that I was able to get off that and they got scared. So now they're like, well, we're going to have a weekly meeting every Wednesday from 10 to 2. So then move forward, Billings Gazette went and they did a public records request to DEQ to try to figure out what Quantica was up to, right? During that DEQ, a Travis Hall from the governor's staff got I don't know, heard about it. And then he put out a presser to try to beat the Billings Gazette story. That's like, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to ask for 7,235 more megawatts. So in Laurel, Montana, they put up a natural gas, which is what's going to go, which is not going to go here, but that's what they want to go there. They shoved that down Laurel, Montana's throat. The citizens showed up. They fought. They didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Gianforte is like, fuck you, Laurel. You're getting a natural plant. Times that by 6 or 7, and that's what it's going to look like going from Broadview, Montana to Billings, Montana. And the greenhouse effects, if this ever goes in, we're pulling our daughter out of Broadview. We will not have her at that school because this is climate change. This data center is climate change as well, but this is like, come on, jackasses. This is that. Like this is like bad. I mean, yeah.
Let me tie onto this because the Laurel plant is only 175 megawatts.
Yeah.
It is 70 times smaller. Not 7 times, 70 times. 70 times smaller than what they're trying to put in for one data center. Are you fucking high? Hold on.
Well, and is it just me, or haven't I heard complaints about the Laurel natural gas plant making people sick?
Yeah.
So Steve Crum, he's going to be at my meeting on the 18th. We have him coming in to talk about the natural gas because we want him to talk about his experience about living next to that and how awful it was. And he literally put out a bucket full of water, and we were just standing there. He goes, watch, and it was just shaking. Imagine that every day of your life, just you know what I mean? Like the stories that poor family has. And there's a wonderful, like it's 12 minutes long. It's a more perfect union. They actually went to Laurel, Montana. They interviewed Steve. They interviewed his daughter. And they showed the process of how the governor shoved this down Laurel, Montana's throat. That's why they fought so hard with this criminal hospital. And I will call it a criminal hospital because that's what the fuck it is. So, yeah. So that's why they did the recall of the mayor. So, yeah, it's awful.
Right. And so here's the thing.
And then, hold on one second. And then Jess Peterson sent out a private email, not thinking that we'd see it, sent out a private email saying, oh, I just want everyone to know. And these must have been like investors because like the people that were in the email chain are like Stockton Bank. And, it must have been like, I don't know, people he was trying to like impress. And trust me, he's not impressive. So he put in this email. He was like, yeah, we're only going to use domestic levels of water, like for kitchens and bathrooms. Like it's ridiculous. They are such liars. And here's the really scary part for me is we can get nuclear power. We can get nuclear plant because in 2021, our mighty, mighty legislators stripped the 1968 Citizen Initiative for nuclear power. And now we can get nuclear back in Montana. Thank you, Republican Party of Montana. He's Googling that right now. He's Googling that. Because it's a very little unknown fact. I didn't know it either. Because I was like, no, that's not true. And I Googled it and I was like, holy shit. But 2021.
Yeah, they did a whole bunch of shit. They're terrible. Let's be quite clear.
And John Chester, who's the CEO of Quantica, he loves nuclear. His old plant in Pennsylvania had nuclear. And it was an Amazon plant.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Oh, look it up. Talon Energy, and look at the images. Oh my God, it's like a nightmare. It's awful. And he made anywhere between 600 million to 650 million. I'm told. That's why my new messaging point is like Quantica pays Broadview millions because they can afford it. I think with all this hassle and all this fighting that Broadview's had to put up with, I think they deserve millions from Quantica. I think write a $10 million check. Let's go.
Hold on. I'm answering a question for a client that asked something, which is not this. So.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Da-da-da.
What's going on with you, Allie? Are you? I can't hear her. Can I not hear her? Talk. Allie, can you talk?
Did they lose Allie?
I think it's her audio that's bad. Did you accidentally maybe click the did you click the mute button?
She went away.
She left us.
Wait, she left us. It's so sad.
It's a scary time. And that's why, like, I feel like as a Democrat, like, we got to go balls to the wall and we got to expose this shit because we are to the point where we're going to lose everything if we don't. And like, I have two shits to care if I hurt people's feelings or if people don't like me, because this is going to ruin us. And then Northwestern Energy told their shareholders that they have over 100 data centers coming to the state of Montana. 100.
Well, there she is. Welcome back.
Yeah. Sorry, I got a call from work, guys, and that kind of jacked everything up. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. All this data center talk, and there's like a lot of nuance to it. And so it's hard to wrap your brain around what is happening, what to fight for, who fights in what direction, and for which data center. Like, one of the things I've noticed is that people are kind of, I don't want to say fractured, but they're kind of clustered in their own neighborhood data center issue. So the people here in Bonner are really focused on the Bonner data center, Broadview on Broadview, Butte on Butte, and so forth, which is not a bad thing. I think that's good. But I also wish that we had like a bridge or something that we could take, that we could link everybody together so that we're all fighting for everything.
I'm bringing up this image.
I can't.
Want to see if I can make it full screen. Hold on. Yes. Okay. I'm going to change some of our layouts so people can see this. Oops. I need to... Hold on. Something's going wrong. Well, it's got me backwards. See, things I don't know how things work. That's a problem.
I like this platform, though. It's working really well. Yeah.
Most things work really well. Okay, so I'm going to just drop off that because it's not that big a deal. But I was looking at the Northwestern Energy residential rates, and this is from MEIC. I'll just read it to you. It's not that big a deal. The total number of kilowatt hours used by residential customers in Montana, and this goes from 2005 to 2026. We have never used more than 800. We average about 750 kilowatt hours.
And they have a hard time keeping up with that.
750, not 7,500, 750. And they're talking about one data center that's going to use 10 times what every residential customer that Northwestern Energy serves in the state of Montana uses.
And they're proposing 14 of them around the state. So it's not just the one. And so that's why I'm like, why are you being so shady about this merger? Because obviously that's where they're going to get the power, right? Like, they're going to have to merge with this Black Hills Corporation to get the power to even run one of these things. And maybe they're going to wing it on the other ones. I don't know. But I don't believe that it's not going to come out in taxpayer wash because of what Cari and I have talked about, right to compute. There are now laws that were pushed through evidently last session by the Zolnikovs about the right to compute, which is basically just the government's way of saying that this is infrastructure, so it means the taxpayer is supposed to pay for it because, the taxpayers are going to need it. So that's what we're going to have to do. And so it's like, well, no, the taxpayer should not be paying for this at all. Is that me that's crackling?
No, that's Cari eating candy.
I'm
Oh,
not eating candy. Oh,
stop.
I'm not eating candy.
Stop.
I'm playing with a wrapper.
I'm like, stop. I can't do it. You crack me up. I'm like, is that me? Am I doing, I'm looking down. I'm like, am I hitting something? That's
Hey,
hilarious.
but Allie, can you tip your camera down just a little bit? Is that possible,
Yeah.
or is it on a lock stand? Okay, cool. Because I was like, we can put. I'm trying to put everybody's heads at the same level.
I'm trying to hide my double chin. Okay.
I know,
I'm
like
trying to do myself some favors here.
you have
I'll
to
just
go
go
like this.
Yeah.
Hey, why do you think I have a
Listen,
beard?
I'm
Why
going
do
to
you
have
think
to
I have a
talk
beard?
like this from now on.
Exactly. You can't see my entire, Chinese phone book here.
That cracks me up. But yeah, so it's interesting to see, all the different ways that they're getting taxpayers to pay for this. Like, that's not the only way, right? Like, right to compute is a big one. That's how they're going to push that cost of developing the infrastructure for these data centers onto the taxpayer, as well as God only knows what else for these data centers. But then on top of that, like we've talked about, to incentivize them to come here, they have given them a special tax rate of less than
Hmm.
1%. So
Yeah,
these
Mhm.
businesses pay less than everybody else in
and
taxes to be here.
And here's the thing, they do that and they don't add in things like what's it going to cost to the community? How is it going to actually bring in jobs? Is it going to build anything for us? It does nothing good for our local Montanans. It literally is just a bunch of people that are like, well, we can't afford to put this anywhere else. So we'll go see if we can steal from Montanans and do it. And, they treat us like yokels and people like, I won't mention any names, but Kari will because she can remember them. I can't.
Okay.
It's on the cough.
Oh,
She's like, I
Daniel
got
and
all the
Katie
names.
Zolikoff. Daniel,
Yeah.
and Katie Zolikoff. And Katie's running for re-election. Daniel had no one run against him. But you can do a write-in candidate against Daniel till August 5th. Please do. And there's also a rumor that Daniel is trying to buy his way on to the PSC.
How would he buy his way onto the PSC? He'd have to run. And he could have run. He
Who
lives in District 1.
who absolutely no, he lives in District 2.
Does he? I thought he was in Billings.
Billings, I'm in District
Oh,
2.
that's right. There's a split there too.
They did that stupid thing where they put all of, to keep the Democrat votes down, they split up the big cities.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
So
a
so
thing.
he's in 2. We all know who's in 2. 2 doesn't 2 is not very
I
like
don't
2
know who's into.
Brad Molnar, isn't
yeah, yeah.
What's the
So
story with that guy?
he
it? What's the story? You only get to pick one, Carrie. You only get to pick one story.
I'm a,
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm a
We
I
we
literally have no
can't
idea
be
who
I
this
here
is,
know.
until
but
the
I'm
end of
interested.
time. We cannot
I'm
be here till the end of
intrigued.
time.
Oh
I get
God.
one
Okay.
story about Brad Molnar.
Okay. So I'm a Laurel girl and I saw a lot. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
I'll be right back.
And
I'm still
so
listening.
and so right now with Brad Milner, he's kind of like on this like redemption arc. Like, and he's so good about data centers and he's so damn smart and he's fighting. Oh, I hope there's something embarrassing on that desk. I really do. Keep going, camera. Keep going. Anyway, he's so smart, right? And he's so good and he's so passionate. But like I see it. Like when he walks into a room and he's talking to like city council, county commissioners, they're like, oh God, here's Brad. And his message just doesn't go anywhere, you know? And but come on, Brad, you're smarter than to put Zolikoff up there. Jesus. Zolikoff will be like, well, I get a little bit of money and a little bit of power. Everything's going concrete. Montana concrete. Like a solar fan, solar fields or whatever. But Daniel Zolikoff works in the energy field, and that's why we got data centers. Because Daniel Zolikoff, Jess Peterson, John Cheshire, Charlie Baker, the Staby boys all got together and they were like, okay, Daniel, you and your wife need to carry these bills through. And when I tell you, you watch these committees of how these bills got through, first of all, you might want to throw punch Katie. I'm just going to say, because like she's sitting there saying, oh, well, we need to get on this list. We need to compete with the other 16 or 17 states that have data centers. I mean, I know nothing about data centers, and this is like my first like session on the tax committee. So, and that's literally how she talks. And so, like, and I'm going to bring my child in so everyone can focus on my child while I talk about this. She had no facts. And then when she finally got one smart question about water, she's like, that's not my lane. If it's not my lane to like say if there's another lane, like if they're gonna okay the water use, that's on them. That's not on me. And then Daniel, what he does, that son of a bitch, is he waited till the last day before transmittal. And if you know anything about the session, that last day before transmittal, everyone wants to get the fuck out of there. We're about ready to kill each other, and we got to go through like 70 bills, right? And that's why he put Senate Bill 212 on that day, so we would just rip right through it. It took them 4 minutes and 32 seconds to all 50 Montana senators voted yes on Senate Bill 212. And when you go back and talk to them, they're like, I trusted Daniel. He's our energy guy. I mean, at least I'm handling myself in such a professional way. It's unbelievable. But like, but like it drives me crazy because at no point were there anybody from the public of Montana there to talk about four very important House bills about data centers because we didn't know.
Well,
Not one
and
person.
and fundamentally, this is part of the problem with the lack of institutional knowledge at the House and Senate. The legislature has been handicapped. Now, I understand that term limits were a very important thing to put in there, but they put the power of the legislature into the hands of lobbyists because they know all the facts, they know all the data, they know who
Yep.
can do what. They've talked to everybody and they
Good
have
point.
the institutional knowledge over time. So I honestly think that we kind of
Yep.
shot ourselves in the foot. I think there's a better way to do term limits, a more fun way to do it, which is you can be the top five in the Senate and the top 10 in the House in length of service. This is their last term. So it doesn't matter how long they've been there because you could be there for 15, 20 years. But when you're in that top in piece, that's your last term. And you're termed out of that body forever. You can go to the other body, but you start at the bottom, which is great. But that saves some of the institutional knowledge. It would allow people like it's still going to allow people like I, Tyson Running Wolf, I think, has been there for a long time, but Mary Cafaro was there for a long time. Mary Cafaro would have been turned out this last session because she has been there for so long. If you take both her House and Senate, if she had been in one, she would have been
Mm-hmm.
in the top of the House and it would have been done. And that would have been great because it still would have had all the institutional knowledge from her tied into it, but it still causes some cycling. And that's what needs to happen. That's why you want term limits is to cycle things. Because I mean, and I will tell you, Helena was part of the problem with that. And Helena gets bitter periodically because Butte has more power than Helena on a regular basis. And politically, they had it because Butte had the same legislators forever. And so in both houses, all the power was centered in Butte. That's why the freeway goes through Butte instead of Helena. So,
Oh.
yeah. So that pissed a bunch of people at Helena off, and a bunch of people at Helena went, that's great. We need term limits. Which destroyed a bunch of other things too. One of the things that I think is really funny is everybody still talks about there's the steak and whiskey dinners that everybody bitches about. Those don't happen anymore. They used to happen, and I know this because when I was in high school, we were part of a group that we were raising money to go to Disneyland, as you do. Because fuck math, we're going to Disneyland. So, um, my choir, we got permission from the Capitol Steps out of DC to use their lyrics, which were spoof lyrics of songs. So like super califragilisticexpialidocious was super frantic, unproductive, nothing legislation. Uh, so, and it's a fun song. So
Sure.
we did that as
I like that.
performances at various events that were put on by lobbyist groups. So the funeral directors, the telecom organizations, the internet, or well, not internet. Internet wasn't around then because it was fucking Stone Age. We had two squirrels and a tablet. um, but the phone company was there. You'd have the police officers unions. You'd have whatever it was, MEA, MFT. Those sorts of things. They'd all put on events for the legislators, and they'd have entertainment at that. And having a local school choir was a good way, and they paid us money. It was awesome. So in doing that, And it gave us the ability to do to fundraise and stuff. But those were the dinners that they had. They do things at Jorgensen's or at the Colonial or wherever, and it was
Do they don't do that
and
anymore at all? Like the groups don't come in for the
not
well,
really. I
what were
mean,
they called? Like, because
they'll
that
do
was
special
fun.
they'll do legislation days where they have the group come up and they'll like host lunch or have
Oh,
snacks in the rotunda, but they really won't do the parties that used to exist. And part of that is because they don't have to. It's an expense they don't need to have anymore because they have the power. So they get to tell legislators what to do instead of being
yeah.
told by legislators, that's cute, but no.
There's no
And
more
so
wine and dining. They got the yeah. You're right. They
yeah,
got the
when they
power.
have the power, and that's the thing. They used to be lobbyists, now they're power brokers, and fundamentally, that's got to change. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we have some work to do there. I think term limits are a fine concept. I think they need to be refined. I think it needs to be smarter, which yeah, can be a harder thing to do. But it takes a little bit of math and maybe some time to sit down and go, yeah, this person's done because they're in the top 10 in the House or top 5 in the Senate. That's fine. And you can also tie into that with, hey, if you're the Speaker of the House, you can do that for 2 terms. If you're the President of the Senate, you can do that for 1 term, and that is your last term. So if you've gone all the way up in leadership, you're done. And so that'll stop some people from being, Knutson, where they go, well, I have to be leadership because I am the most important idiot in my own head. And then they use that to control what happens on the floor and stop things from getting around. One of the things that I thought was most impressive about some of Montana history is looking back on some of the people that have served in the legislature for 15, 20 years back before we had term limits. They didn't always go into leadership. In fact, a lot of them avoided it because they had more power. They weren't tracked by the press. They weren't tracked by lobbyists. They knew their friends. They built their coalitions. They had their favors. They had their, you vote for this, I'll vote for this, we'll build something up. And they knew who to go to with this bill is really kind of out of my bailiwick, but my constituent wants it. But this person over here that I've worked with for the last decade knows this shit inside and out. They'd go over, talk to them, and then they could massage the bill before it went to the floor to be something that was more palatable to more palatable to more people. Palatable, blah, blah, blah. More palatable to more people on the floor. So it ran into less resistance because it was a smarter bill. So we had less of this contentious bullshit that happens when people are allowed to just submit 500 angry bills from conservative coalitions that just hate everything that makes life fun. So and all of those bills end up in front of people and they have to be heard. So it's there's so many
Okay.
things that the legislature could do better, and we bog them down in certain ways by overcorrecting. And
Mhm.
it takes, one of the things that I find is really important about governance is that it is about nuance. First and foremost, it is always about nuance. And if you cannot understand nuance and work with people to get to a nuanced position, don't go into politics. Let somebody else do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
So
it's tough.
sorry,
I
didn't mean to
think
interrupt.
no. You're totally fine. So some of the questions that I have about the entire process of it all, there's a handful of things. I wonder sometimes how much Montanans really just don't know what happens in the legislature, or don't really understand about it and how to fix that. I think us meeting and talking about these things is a good way to begin to address that. But I think that's a hurdle
Mm-hmm.
that we have. But then also, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen in 2030 with the new census, because I have seen some organizations pushing for a constitutional convention. And then I have been to the Upper Seven Law presentation about just informing people about the Montana Constitution and how it came about and what it's about. And so I'm kind of concerned to see, okay, in the run up to this in 27 and then subsequently in 29, are they going to deliberately pass really awful legislation to try and scuttle the Constitution, or try to make the case to the people that Montanans need a brand new Constitution? That we need. And then I guess the question would be, does anybody feel like we should have a constitutional convention?
No, we should not. Not in these times, for fuck's sake. Oof.
You're telling me.
That's too
part of the
scary. I
problem
would
is,
say fuck to the no.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
thank you
no
for
way.
playing, but no, we're not going to do that. But the other part of it is, so I do think one of the interesting things about a constitutional convention, this happened last time, and I'm not sure how it's prescribed, but I'm sure it's part of it still, is that all the people that were delegates to the constitutional convention could not be office holders. And you couldn't have just resigned to try to be one. If you were currently an elected, you couldn't be one.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it meant that a bunch of the people that had been power brokers forever, that were terrible people, that were making shit worse for everybody, they weren't allowed to be there. They weren't part of the convention. It had new people. It had a requirement that there were young people, that there were, obviously at the time, two genders. Because in the 70s, we didn't have they, thems. I don't know. Like, but,
No, we
two
must. Yeah.
genders.
Anyway. Yeah. Nope. Let's not go there. Yep.
Yeah. But that was the thing. We ended up with, uh, the people that go to do the constitutional convention are charged with actually doing something that's very, very important, and then it has to be ratified by the counties. Like, you forget that the constitutional convention doesn't just get done and go, hey, we have something new. It goes out for votes. It has to be
Mhm.
voted on, and the counties are weighted. It's not like Yellowstone competes with carbon.
Yeah.
No, the counties are weighted. It's based on the votes. It's a certain number of people in each county have to do it, and the big counties get more pull. So it's not going to be an easy thing to pass. There's not enough people to support it. And I think it comes down to, right now it's just a dangerous time to have everybody in it because there is a lot of divisiveness. There's a lot of people that are just flat out fucking assholes,
Yes.
that are involved. And along with that, you end up in a situation where I don't want to change the Constitution. It's not the problem. The problem is the people around us are no longer respecting it. So why
They
would I
need to
change it?
rewrite it. They need to reread it. It doesn't need to be
Thank you.
rewritten. It needs to be reread. That's the
for
problem.
for
We forgot.
comprehension. Like, there should be a test. Oh, I heard a great comedian the other day was talking about when you turn 50, you are basically the freshman of old people. And I know you two aren't there, but I'm 53 and I'm like, yeah, I'm still the
Pretty
freshman of old
close.
people. Like, I don't
Pretty
know.
47.
close.
I don't know how this shit works at all. I'm constantly amazed when I wake up in the morning. My first thought is always, wow, still here. and
Yeah.
That's how I feel
and and
lately.
and that's literally because, I mean, hell, my first boyfriend died of AIDS. I mean, let's be honest. So when we're dealing with the world around us, how do we function as old people? My community, I don't have a bunch of old queer guys that are in their 70s and 80s that I can go talk to. I have a few, but not a ton. And
Yeah.
I wish I had more. But I look at the people that, when we get to the 50s, it's like, here's all the things that are changing in your life. Here's the medical things you got to be aware of. Here are the financial things you got to be aware of. Here are the ownership things you got to be aware of. Here's what you've got to be aware of for, you're going to die. Yeah, now is at the very least a time to review some shit.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I also think that we should have, just as you're turning 50, here's some things that we want to have. It's a 1 week thing where you get to take a vacation from work and you get to go. It's a 1 week of classes. And one of the things we should have is just a reminder on how civics functions. Like, hey, we're going to give you a class on voting. We can see you voted before. We're not sure you knew what you were doing. So we're going to
Yeah.
chat. And
That's such
also,
a great point because so many people turned in all three ballots during this
and
last
yeah,
primary.
so
And
nothing
and
got counted.
null and voided their whole voice. Their whole voice did not count for
Even if they were
anything.
blank. That's the part that kills me. It's like, even if the other two were blank, if you turned in all three of them, you got nothing. And that's just,
Anytime to
it's a
suppress
lack of
that vote, the Republicans will do it.
right.
Anytime.
Also true.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Da, 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 da.
I remember years ago, I had to watch a recount. Oh my God, it was so boring. And we kept making the joke that one of them like let a dog in. I'm like, just go pee on those fucking ballots right there. Just go pee. Come on, buddy.
Right.
Because if anything is wrong with the ballot, they'll just reject it. It's like,
Right.
oh no, bro, like they don't care. They're just like, yeah. So just had to get that in there.
That's a fun one. Jesus Christ. Da, da, da,
Don't oink at me,
da.
Petey. My dog is oinking at me. He does that when he wants me to pay the cracker tax.
Oh, are we paying it
Okay.
then? Is that what we're reaching for? There we go.
Yeah, we got to pay the cracker tax. He loves Ritz. That's his favorite. So he's 15. He's old enough now that I give him human treats, but he is getting more aggressive about it. And I'm like, you need to back off, bro. Like, this is not, no, old man, you don't get to push me around.
So our old cat, the orange one that you guys saw, Fritz, we got him because the adoption for like the younger, under 10 and under are $200. But if the cat's over like 10, they'll give it to you for 15. So we're like, hey, Lennon, we're getting a cat, but we want to get a senior cat because we want to really show that cat some, some love before it passes. Yeah, I can't. Who can afford $200 for a kitty? I mean, like, I'm sorry, but like, my jaw was to the ground when I saw that. I was like, oh,
Yeah, it can be interesting. So going into the convention, we're looking at a lot of, sounds like we're looking at a lot of data center related focus.
I
Are
think
there any
so.
other issues you guys think are going to be at the center? Like, is there going to be any healthcare stuff?
Oh,
I
yeah, but a
think the
lot of that stuff
Democrats
is
are all
already
good
pretty
on it.
consistent.
Yeah, the Democrats are already good on that one. Like, women rights, they're already there. Like, it's already, you know what I'm saying? Because these have been our platform for so many years. How are we on transgender? What did they call it? Transgender it? What was it before?
The
Transgender.
transgendered.
The transgendered. I don't. I would hope we're really good on that one, but that's the one that I would fear with the Montana Democrats.
Well, let me look because guess what? The Plank and platform are available. If you go to montanademocrat.com, montanademocrats.com, sorry, and go to your party, you can go to platform and bylaws. And let me download the platform really quick and we'll take a look at it because I actually don't remember it for shit. Oh my God, it is 38 pages. So we're getting up to that point where it's time to let's shorten that.
Like, can we get one
That's
solid like bullet point page? Just like,
Just no on data centers
a
forever. Done.
checklist. Just
so
a glossary.
Okay, I'm
I'm gonna
listening.
read
I'll be
you.
right back.
Okay, I'm gonna read you the
Oh,
preamble. The Montana
I mean, do I need to get
Democratic Party.
comfortable? Is this going to take
wait.
forever?
Yeah.
Yes,
How long
but
is that?
2.5 paragraphs, 3.5 paragraphs.
Okay,
That's
so
not.
I got time to use. Okay, go ahead.
Got it. The Montana Democratic Party is the party of the people. We welcome to our cause Montanans of every color, creed, and condition. That's not true because we do not welcome vampires. If you're part of the undead, you're not part of the Democrats,
I'm sorry.
at least so far as we know. Anyway, continuing. Our history as a party teaches us that by working together and speaking as one, we can move society forward, especially when we raise our voices for those among us with little money, influence, or acceptance. Our cause as Montana Democrats is as simple and as ambitious as the purpose stated in the Constitution of the United States. There's a colon. We strive to create a more perfect union. Like the founders of this nation, we believe that such a union must be a government of the people and by the people, dedicated to securing for every single citizen the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Like the delegates who crafted Montana's Constitution, we believe that a more perfect union requires that we secure even more expansive liberties. We treasure our explicit right to the privacy of our persons, our property, and our communications. A semicolon this time. Our right to a clean and healthful environment, another semicolon, and our right to be notified, to observe, and to participate when our governing bodies make decisions. As Montanans, we are deeply grateful for the heritage, opportunity, freedom, landscape, and lifestyle we enjoy in this, quote, last best place, unquote. As Democrats, we believe that by ensuring and expanding these blessings for every Montanan, we improve the quality of life for all Montanans. Yeah. Within this framework of belief, Montana Democrats are guided by these enduring principles. And then we have all of the sections. And most of the sections are one paragraph long in this beginning. So the sections are as follows: agriculture and rural development, American Indians, crime punishment and access to justice, cultural enrichment, energy and climate change, good government, healthcare and human services, housing, human and civil rights, hunting, fishing and outdoor recreation, international relations, jobs in the economy, labor, public education, stewardship of our natural resources, taxation, veterans and active military, and women.
While you guys are up there, you might consider proposing that they add a section about communication with the public. Because I think a lot of the problems
No, because you know what? They're going to put on something.
What's that?
No, they would put that we need to make sure that we communicate, and somebody would put it as a joke that we can only use smoke signals, and then motherfucker, I gotta learn how to do smoke signals.
I mean, I'm not saying that it couldn't be fun, but seriously though, like I think a large part of the problem with politics just in general, but especially state and local politics that are so important because these are the things that affect your everyday life much more than federal policy, right? Is that people just don't know, and they don't know where to go to get it in a format that's not fucking boring, that isn't gonna fucking put you to sleep. Like, I swear to God, it's better than fucking Ambien, pardon my language, but it's like we have to figure out
But
how to
has listening to
communicate to
politics
people.
ever made you order 3 pounds of crickets off of Amazon?
Well, I mean, not crickets, but definitely like it's induced, some binge eating. I'm just saying.
Were they crickets?
Like maybe a 12 pack of Crumble. That's a bit of a problem.
Crumble's so good.
Yeah, they're all right. They're okay. I don't know.
Crumble cookies?
They're my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're okay.
Pies.
I don't really like
They're pilot. They're pies, for fuck's sake.
Well, I don't really care as much for their cookies as I do for like their cakes. Their cakes are pretty decent. Their cookies are like,
I never made cakes.
Yeah, like their tres leches cake really good. Okay, now we have to ask, what's everybody's favorite crumble cookie? Mine is the waffle cookie.
Oh God, that might be mine. No, they did the Dubai chocolate. I've only seen it once.
They had Dubai chocolate cheesecake this week. I haven't ordered in, I don't know, over a year. And then for whatever reason, this week, maybe it's all the stress of the week. Like this week has been so bonkers. And I was like, oh, crumble sounds really good. So I looked and they had a Dubai chocolate cheesecake, but they're out. And I'm like, well, all right, whatever. It's really honestly okay. I don't really need it, but I just thought it was interesting. But yeah, I think my favorite crumble would have to be the waffle cookie for sure, with the syrup on it. Oh, so amazing.
Oh, so good. I think that's probably one of my first ones I've ever had. Because we just got it in Billings a couple of years back.
Fun. We have one here, and I loved it like the first couple of weeks that it was here and it was going on. But then like the second time I went, everything tasted like it was just a miniature pie. And I'm like, okay, if I want a miniature pie, I'll come. Because they had an apple crumble, like, and like the crumble bits on the top, and it was like an apple pie. And I was like, this is great, but it's not a fucking cookie. It's a pie. Like, I don't know who you people think you are, but that is a pie.
Kevin, are you a pie purist?
No, I'm not one of those people. I am literally one of those people that's like, well, I'm more of a cookie purist because I like a good cookie.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Like, a cookie is a thing. If you're making a small pie, you're just making a small pie. But if you're making a cookie is a thing. It has its own structure. You can pick it up on its own. You can take a bite out of it. It doesn't dribble down the front of you because it's not a fucking pie. Like, I get
everything you said was not. Yeah, you're right.
Like, I love the idea of having a small pie because periodically there are days when I'm like, you know what? I feel like today I should treat myself with a pie, and I Would love to do that. So I would go to an actual bakery and get a small piece of pie from them because they will have baked an actual pie and cut something out of it, right?
Oh, so good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. And then I go to Crumble Cookie because I wanted a fucking cookie. And I was like, oh, I'd like to try this apple strudel fucking cookie, which I'm thinking could be great because imagine the consistency of a chocolate chip cookie, but it's got a couple apple pieces and some extra
Oh,
cinnamon in there, right? And it's got the baked cinnamon bits and baked sugar bits on the top with some brown sugar. Just, mwah, just could be so good. Instead, what do I get? Fucking apple pie. It's small, it's handheld, but it's not a cookie. Fuck you. It's not a
Right.
cookie,
This is not McDonald's.
right?
That's
And it's like,
hilarious.
there's that interesting story about McDonald's when they first did apple pies because they didn't make them pie like, but they have the crust and it's wrapped and it's fried and it's got the pie filling in it, and it is McDonald's impression of a pie. Those are delicious. Like
Mhm.
they
this
are.
is a McDonald's apple pie, and because it is prefaced with McDonald's, that adjective changes a lot about it, and that's fine. I get that. That is a
Yeah.
McDonald's pie. That is not a pie. It is a McDonald's
Mhm.
pie, and that's
So you're
fine.
saying that
And
Crumble
it's
should rename its pie cake business into like
it
maybe
it shouldn't be
Drippy.
crumble cookies. It should be
Yeah.
crumble tiny pies.
There you go. I like it. Tiny
Tiny
pies and
tiny
cakes.
pies in a vagina box. That's all there is to it.
Well, all right. Tiny pies in a pink box. It's true.
Like I can't help you. I don't know what it is that's gone wrong for everybody in this, but that's fine. It's not really my problem. It is,
Yeah.
however, it's part of the larger problem of people not being able to describe things because they don't get connected to words and are not informed. Allie knows this. I did an audition earlier this week for Grand Street Theater because they're
Oh,
doing they're doing the show Come From Away next year, which is a beautiful musical. It's about the flights that were diverted to other airports during 9/11. And a whole bunch of planes had to land in a tiny town in Newfoundland in Canada because they were diverted. That was the only place they could go where they could get fuel and had a long enough runway for some of these bigger planes to be able to take off. And so overnight, the town, quadrupled in size or something ridiculous. All these people were there. And then, of course, there was a hurricane that came through and hit land. So they were stuck there for like 4 days. And it's this great story about how, in times of literally the scariest thing that could happen, you're on a plane, you're trying to get home or trying to get on vacation, everything goes sideways, you end up in a place you didn't expect, that doesn't really have the capacity for you. You're with a bunch of strangers that you don't know, and you're all forced to figure it out how humanity comes together. So it is literally one of the most inspiring stories around.
I do remember
Uh,
that story. I do remember that being like one of
right.
the yeah. I do remember that.
So I had to audition for that, but the audition that I did because they're like, well, bring in a 1 minute monologue and bring in a song, and songs are easy. I've been singing my entire life, so not a problem. But the 1 minute monologue, I hadn't done a monologue in forever, and I wanted to find something new. So I took the opening monologue from The Newsroom, which the TV show, which
Yeah, where he just goes and he just
where he sits
fucking
down
He's
and he
nails
goes,
like,
it.
if we're so goddamn great and you're so goddamn
"If
good
you're
at
so
losing all the
goddamn
time.
smart, how
Yeah.
come liberals lose so goddamn often?"
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yes.
so I
And then at
clipped
the
out.
end, wait, what did I say? I love that line. Wait, because I feel like that every day. Wait, what did I say? Like after I'm
Right,
done, I love that. Sorry, I had to get that line in. It's so good.
right, and that is just an absolutely mind-blowingly good scene. Um,
Hmm.
and from that, I had to take a minute, so I had to edit it down because you want to have that transition from angry about a question that makes no sense and is insulting to anybody who is paying attention to how we can get back to everybody is paying attention, is informed. Why it's important that we be informed, why it's important that news not be biased, why it's important that it exists. And so it was just it's the perfect time for that. I really wish they would restart the newsroom sort of as the newsroom in exile
Yeah.
and kind of figure out, how are we doing this with bloggers and influencers? And, because we see so many interesting people that are online. I mean, I'm sure you guys have watched Under the Desk News
Hmm.
on
I
TikTok.
love V. They're great.
Right. And they've been doing an amazing job because they take it very seriously and they talk about this is what I see. This is my opinion. Here are the facts that are laid out that we can see. Here's my opinion. Here's how I want to move forward. but you know exactly where they stand, and you know that they are working to give you those facts, because there are so many times when you see V do a piece on whatever the topic is, and it would be very easy to spin it as, well, this is liberal politics, or this is conservative politics, and this is trash, blah, 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 whatever it is. And because the facts are there, even though it is something that is intrinsically disagreeable to our wonderful host, V Spear, they are giving the facts as they exist and not making it an opinion, saying this is what's happening. And by doing that, they are building more trust and becoming the person that we can say, oh, if I want to know about something, I want to see if V is reported on it first, because they're going to have at least a stack of facts that I can sift through, links to get back to things to do more research if I feel I need
Yeah.
to understand more. And it was funny because the first time I saw a big hit piece on data centers, Cari, you were the one who was doing it. It was just one woman had come up. I think it was the first time I saw one of your videos. It was immediately followed by V doing some coverage of some data center stuff that was happening in AI and why it exists. And I was like, well, serendipitous, my goddamn For You page is awesome. So, um,
Go, I'll go. I have to tell you, when it comes to V, I really appreciate their collaboration strategy, because
mhm,
they have consistently over the years, I've been following them since they were literally launched under the desk before they became really big. And
mhm,
they have really worked hard to incorporate lots of different, very credible voices, and like they vet their sources. And um, so I just appreciate it, even in the times that I don't agree. And that,
mhm.
there are times when they'll do a report that just pisses me right the fuck off.
But
But
Yep.
well, they've also done reports where we've agreed with them, we thought it was great, and then they found out that facts were missing and that somebody
yep,
had lied to them. And V comes out and says, hey, straight up, this was a lie, this was wrong. We can no longer trust this person. Here's what I found out since. Here's where those facts are. Da da da.
right.
I'm really sorry I reported this wrong. That is such an
Yeah.
incredibly powerful thing to do. Because when you do that as a reporter or as an influencer or whoever it is that you're doing, you're saying, hey, these are the things that make everything worthwhile for us.
Mhm,
Let's work on being better and understanding, we're going to come back to it, nuance. Because
mhm,
there are going to be times when people are saying things that will absolutely blow you out of the water with anger because it's just completely wrong. And it's because a fact was misinterpreted or a word was misinterpreted. And once that's discovered, being able to step back and go, oh, okay, that isn't a problem then. We can work with
mhm.
that. We can do these things.
A
I
great
was wrong.
example. Yeah, a
Oh.
great example, except for this was not V being wrong. This was someone else being but I don't want to say conspiracy theorist, but there's a lot of salacious news that floats around, and you can support it with facts and have it still be not exactly right. But for example, the story
Really?
about, yeah, right, about Kushner and the Kushners buying that island from not Argentina, the other one.
Albania?
That's the one. Um And there was this video came out, and I even had made a post about it because I have my own theory that the Trumps are trying to gain some kind of control to collect a fare over every strait in the world, or every strait that they can, to some extent. And I felt like this was just another
Hmm.
Way
extension
to
of
do it.
that. And
Yeah.
so, um, and the video was there. There was two videos. I watched both of the videos from this lady from Ireland. And then a couple of days later, V had come out and said, okay, that report is not accurate. Here is somebody who is in Albania and who is actually on the ground around this issue and really comprehensively diving into it. You can go to the under report and they will tell you that this speculation is not right. Not to say that what they are planning to do is good, because it's not. Um, so I thought that was really interesting. And I was like, that's great perspective. So it gave me the ability then to pull that story down and to dive into it deeper. And so I really appreciate their
Hmm.
style of communication for that reason.
Yeah, I think it's also it's just amazing to have somebody who wants to be a journalist for the reasons that journalism is important,
That
which
is
is telling the
good.
truth.
Yes.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
Yes.
it's a lot of it's easy to get wrapped up in conspiracy theories. It's easy to get caught up in a stack of facts that look a certain way when you're missing other pieces, because those other pieces might be small but could be critical and they could steer things to something more clear. It could also be the conspiracy is true. Like, at the end of the day,
In this
it
day
is
and age,
Like
2026.
the plant is planting. That's true. Got it. Sorry, we're gonna throw
so
that in there. I'm throwing that in
I was
there. I'm
so
throwing that in
I s-
there.
I was so close to having a perfect show where we're not going to bring that up. But
Nope.
yeah, so it's
here's the thing.
interesting.
Here's what I'm gonna bring up for the two of you, because I think this is important. Because I did talk to Alani, and if you two would like to, we'll have her on.
Call it. Let's do it.
You want to? Let me see if she's
Let's do
available
it.
right now. She did say the beer buds might be pulling her on tonight. Let me check really quick.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did she need to
Do
go to her friend podcast? How lovely.
find out.
I'm so
They've
disappointed
not.
in those guys.
Why? They've never invited me on. I'm sad.
That's so funny that you say that, because I'm kind of sad too. I'm like, well, I know I'm nobody, but also I'm not nobody. I went to their whitefish thing. Like, I could tell a
They
joke or
don't
two.
help out anyone but themselves. They don't.
Oh,
They really are
I.
not about like the. You know how you were talking about earlier, like we're all separated. It's
Mhm.
because of shit like that. Like we can't all get on the
Oh,
same page. It's like it drives me fucking insane. And you get a lot of men who are all about the fucking talk but no action. So just calling a spade here. So that's what it is, Allie.
okay. She did jump on with them, but she's done. I'm asking if she'd like to jump on with us.
I would love it.
Okay. Be nice.
I'm just gonna layer with the
You
facts.
can literally lay out the facts how you see them, but I do want you to be nice.
I will be
Mostly
I
because
will be nice.
okay,
She's
she's
doing this
going to
as a
jump
favor
on
to you.
this.
Okay,
Well,
I'm
no,
gonna mute up.
She's doing this because you have a right as a citizen of Montana to ask questions of your prospective elected officials. And she fully
Exactly.
believes in that. And so that is absolutely a thing that's going to happen. And I think it's important because there are so many people who have heard what you said and can see that you're talking about facts and you've stacked them up in a way that makes sense. So it very well could be. But
Did you find out? Did you see my stuff today? What I found out even more.
no, no, and here's the thing. Today was such a clusterfuck in my business life. There were so many things going on that like I didn't open TikTok. I haven't looked in my email. Let me see. Right now I have 2,300 emails that I have to clear out. I'm just gonna fucking declare bankruptcy on those. That's not gonna happen.
Is
I'm
she
like, Jesus. Is she what? Hmm?
oh is she coming on or is she clearing out the
No,
or that's your
she's coming
emails?
up. She's
Okay.
she's
Okay.
running back to her office. No, that was my personal. That was my emails, work emails, and stuff. I'm just
No,
like
like
I've
look,
got so many
I'll
projects.
have a ton of respect for her if she gets on tonight. We have a conversation. Because
Yeah, no, she's going to.
I want this stuff answered because this stuff is scary. This stuff is mean. And here's the thing, as a woman who worked in politics for many moons, I think she got played. I think that they looked at her, they knew she was loyal, they knew that she was a game player. She has the same kind of background as Seth does, and they're like, kaboom,
So
this is a
you think
perfect
that
person.
somebody asked her to get into the race?
Yep.
Okay, that's interesting because I haven't. As far as I know, and I don't remember if I asked her or not, but as far as I know, she got into the race of her own volition. She saw a need, stepped in.
Well,
So,
of
but ask her.
course.
Well, no, like
But come on, Cap. She's not going to be like, yeah, Totally Olsen showed up to my house and we're like, yeah, I'll run for this race. I mean, you can't say that. You can't say that.
yeah, well, if Tully Elson shows up at my house right now, he's going to be in trouble. Exactly.
Totally Olsen is gross.
I used to
You
like
guys
him,
are
and
funny.
here we
Well, it
are.
should be interesting. I think it's good always to, you
Hi,
know,
Alani.
oh,
Hello.
Hey,
hi.
Lonnie, how are you? Hi,
So
Plant.
Good.
I
How
have
are
Cari
you?
and Allie here,
Good.
and I'm sure you've seen some of their videos, but they do. I'm happy to have you on because I know that both of them have had questions about what's been going on. There's been a lot of angst for the people at home. I'll give you a recap of what's gone on. we had the primary votes here in Montana, and Alani won in the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate, which was kind of an underdog win. There was a lot of money spent in the race that was not from Alani, that was from two major PACs, as far as is that correct? It's two?
Two.
More jobs, more jobless government, which
Yep.
is Jake Eaton out of Billings, and Cari, you know where his house is. Go kick him. And the other one was
Yeah, no shit.
the
Progressive vet pack.
Vets pack, yeah, which apparently is one tech bro with a bunch of extra money that spent a lot of it in the race. So
Jason Carroll.
let's see, someone's really good at remembering names. It ain't fucking me. But Cari, I'm going to let you do questions. I'm going to change the layout so that let me see how I can do this because I want. No. Let's see. I'm going to put Cari here. I'm changing the layouts for the people at home. And
This is fascinating to watch this. I've never seen this before.
Yeah. So
this
Cari
restream is nice.
Oh my.
Is it
so
great?
Big. Oh my gosh.
I know, right? Like you just. Okay.
Well, this way it kind of gives focus to other people. I'm going to mute myself for the most part so I don't dive in because I'm an asshole.
Okay.
But I'm here. So just so you know.
Okay, so have you seen you saw my ask, so let's start there. What years did your dad work at West Point? He taught there. You said that. What years?
Can we just hang on one second? Because I don't know either of you. And the posts, from what I can tell, have been pretty nasty. Mm-hmm. And I haven't done anything to you. So is this like, what is the intent here? Are you willing to have respect?
Foremost,
can I finish talking?
No, absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I will always engage in respectful dialogue with folks, but I'm a person just like you, and mutual respect is really important to me and in general, just as a human being. So is it possible for you to explain to me like what the intent is, what's going on, what your primary concerns are? And then if you are respectful, I will continue to engage with you. But
it's only if it's dependent on me. Okay.
I mean, so I haven't done anything to you.
Here's my question. How many times, what's your stance on data centers? Let's start there. That's my only core I care about. My name is Cari, so let's start there. So what is your stance on data centers? Because that's my background. And you're not running the show here. I just want to be very clear here. I'm a constituent and I have questions. And you have got to answer these because these are terrible. What I'm finding about you is not adding up. It's insane what I'm finding about you.
I asked for a very simple mutual respect and dignity, and I'm not going to engage with anybody if you're not able to do that. I don't owe you anything.
No, okay, you're right. No, hold on. Cari. I can do this. No, you're right. I will be calm. Let's talk about it. So here's my question. When did you move to Montana?
I asked you to explain to me what the intent is. What do you want to get out of this conversation?
Oh, I want to find out where you stand on data centers. I want to get a better understanding of your past. I want to understand because your dad to me is a huge missing point of how I figure out how you got to Montana and what we're really going through.
Okay.
So
are you committed?
Oh my gosh.
You seem pretty committed to misunderstanding me. Are you open to changing your mind about whatever it is that you believe?
Absolutely. Okay. If I get some answers.
Okay. Let's be respectful. And that's all I ask for.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
go ahead, Kevin.
Really quick. The overall goal, just to make sure, and I'll be clear, the positions that people are starting in right now, Alani, I know you are a candidate. You have joined this race. You have your reasons for being in the race. You think they're good, solid, and straightforward. Cari is thinking that you are a plant because the information that is out there that has been presented to her, the facts that as they've been presented, have put you into a position of you are connected to Seth or the Bodner campaign in some weird way. There are people that ask for you to be in there, and there's money being spent on your behalf that is coordinated in the background and making you look like a plant. And what we want to do tonight, to be clear, is to clear the air because I understand where Cari's coming from and having conversations with her on several occasions where it has been, she can outline this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the facts. And looking at them, that could be a thing. Allie and I had this conversation earlier in the week. Or was it last week? Yeah. where we
Yeah.
went over one of Kari's videos and we're like, yeah, that's the thing. And I can see how she got there because if those are the
Perfect.
facts that she has, that's what it
Sure.
is. So
Sure.
that's where the questions are. And yes,
Right.
Kari is one of those people. I'm not apologizing for your tone, Kari. This is one of those things. Kari is fired up because she believes so importantly in this race and in this state.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
she is at a point where so many people have dismissed her concerns that
Mm-hmm.
she's angry and justifiably so. And I've been
Right.
very careful in my working with her and answering her because I
Sure.
know where that anger comes from. And in my first
Sure.
race for the PSC, I was Kari. Like everybody asked me
Sure.
about stuff with the PSC, and I was like, "Fuck them! They should die. I need a fucking knife." And so I was right there. And there was a
Yeah.
lot of it comes from the right place, and it doesn't always come across well. So just so you know,
Sure.
I think you both are great people, and I think you'll actually get along very well. So
Yeah,
Perfect.
and I would
that's
Thank
like
you
to
that's
so
all I
much,
preface,
want to
if you
add.
Kevin.
guys don't
Thank
mind.
you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I would like to preface for myself. I am in this conversation as somebody who just doesn't know. I
Sure.
see a lot
Sure.
of things from
Mhm.
all different kinds of angles, and there's some great questions to be asked, and there
Yes.
are a lot of things. So I'm not condemning anyone at this point,
Sure.
particularly other than I'm not crazy about Seth Bodner and
Sure.
how that's all coming around.
Sure.
But just so we know, I am
I
here
completely
because I think
understand. Yeah.
There we
answers are
go.
important. I'm not trying
Yep.
to accuse
No,
anything.
right. And I totally agree. And I agree that we all just want the truth and we want transparency. And I really appreciate you guys kind of laying that out. So yeah, I'm an open book. There's nothing, I'm not hiding anything. So please go ahead, Cari.
Okay. So my question is this. With the West Point thing, what years did your dad work at West Point? I think that's a very easy question. I'm not a politician. In some ways, I appreciate what Kev said. I appreciate what she said, but I don't have to be incredibly nice about this one. And me asking a simple question, what years did your dad work at West Point, should not be this difficult. I've waited now 7 minutes for this answer.
I don't actually owe you anything, right?
Then why did you get on here? What did
Because
you think? Did you think?
I
you-
was open to talking to you. Allie and Kev, this is about civil discourse, which I think we have to get back to as a country. I understand your frustration. I'm going to answer this question the one time. I'm asking you to be respectful moving forward. 1992 to 1995 is when my dad was at West Point. I'm kindly requesting that you be respectful.
Now at that
what
point,
did he teach? What did he teach?
Yeah, that's a great one.
He taught Spanish.
Oh, nice. And you went to West Point as well, correct?
I did not go to West Point.
Oh, you didn't go to West Point.
No.
Okay, so interesting. No, that's Seth. Jesus. See, Kari, I can't even keep the facts straight.
So how long did you live in West Point during like 1997 to like 2001?
No.
I mean, how long did you guys move after that?
I said we were there from 1992 to 1995.
Oh, so then you moved out. Did you move God, I know that you're an army background, right? So did you move overseas? Did you move out of the area during that time?
We moved to the Pentagon. That's where my dad was stationed next.
Oh.
So in that same area. So like in that same Virginia area then?
No,
Virginia, Maryland?
West Point is in New York. It's in upstate New York. The Pentagon is in DC area.
Okay. So I'm a dumb fuck for that one.
You're not a dumb fuck. Remember,
hey, at least I'll remember shit. At least I'll say when I'm a dumb fuck. So here's my question. And I am so angry with this because I looked at your FEC filing and there's no way that you could have done that race without the dark money. We're sitting here in the state of Montana saying we don't want dark money. Everyone sign up. And I can show a prime example through the Better Big Sky, the progressive table of how you got here. And I'm convinced that you and Seth somehow knew each other prior. Am I wrong on that one?
I've never met him. I've never had contact with him. I never heard of him before he ran for office. I don't know what you're talking about with the FEC stuff. I did not seek PAC money to come in. I've never courted DC money. Clearly, my FEC filings show I'm not getting DC money. I have disavowed all PAC money. I've done everything in my legal power to stop it from coming in. So I don't know what else you want me to say or do about that. But and to be clear, we've never had any contact with the tester, nobody in tester's camp, nobody in Bodner's camp. My campaign is so boring. We campaign, we sleep, we wake up, we repeat. That's it. And I get that, the conspiracy might be more exciting for some people. There's no conspiracy here.
One of the things that I saw that was interesting that was going on was what was wrapped around with people saying that, oh, she's not telling them to not send out these flyers, right? But
they must think I'm a good candidate.
Right. But the legal thing is she can't tell them because that is coordination. Right. And we have a Republican administration right now that will turn the FCC around and put her in the court and fine her for it.
Right.
Because you can't do anything. Coordination doesn't mean, oh, well, I'm telling them how to spending. It even includes saying stop.
Right.
And that's the problem as well. So you can't say that, oh, Alani's a problem because she didn't tell them to not spend in her race. By the time she found out about him, the flyers were out. She found out the same time as the rest of us.
I found out because people texted us and they're like, hey, great flyer. And we're like, what are you talking about?
And you can't coordinate that.
So you don't know Muffy Funk?
I do not know Muffy Funk. I've never met Muffy Funk, never interacted at all, ever.
Do you know Lauren Caldwell?
I have no idea who that is.
Do you know Tully Olson?
No.
I know all these people.
So how are you going to raise money moving forward? I just don't trust you, to be quite honest with you. Like, there's no way on God's green earth that anyone can win a U.S. Senate race with 23,000. There's some backdoor deals going on. This is the progressive table.
Backdoor deals. If I'm telling you,
I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
I'm sorry you don't get it, but I didn't do anything wrong, and frankly, I'm not responsible for your emotions.
No, that's such a crock of shit. So my question is, why can't I find anything about you? Why have you been scrubbed?
What do you mean? I've not been scrubbed. I'm all over the internet. Look at my TEDx, look at my company website, look at my interviews. I'm all over the internet before I ran for office.
I have a screenshot where it says that you care so much about your family. Can I finish?
Please go ahead.
I have a screenshot that says that you care so much about your family background that you actually have the background scrubbed or something like that. It's the bizarre thing that I've ever seen in my life.
Ma'am,
but here's the thing. I want to know. I want you to tell me when you moved in the state of Montana. That is a good question. That is a great question. When did you move into the state of Montana?
2021.
2021?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you bought the house in 2024. That's what's throwing everyone off, correct?
We bought our house in 2023. I think we're going on 3 years of being in that house.
3 years? What about you writing, what was it? Oh my God, I want to make sure I have this right. You wrote the war plan for the Air Force while you were a civilian. How's that possible?
I think what you're talking about is I rewrote war planning for counterintelligence agents, where we pivoted from global war on terror to great power competition, which GPC is the fancy term for war against China. Okay. I retired as a reservist. So reservists are citizen airmen. We are civilian part of the time and we're active duty part of the time. So I was activated last year, which is another reason why I couldn't run for office, because when you're on active duty, it is illegal to do anything political. So I was on active duty orders out of Quantico, Virginia, and I rewrote how Air Force counterintelligence agents make war. I wrote that policy.
Hold on. I'm going to get the quote, because that's not the quote.
Okay. So while she's getting the quote, one of the things that I want to point out, because we have this whole discussion earlier about term limits and making sure that there's new people in politics. We've discussed the bench in the background and everything. And I do think it's very interesting that we're having a discussion where you have somebody that's new, both to Montana and new to politics, from a running for office perspective, and obviously involved in political drama. And these are all the things that we want, but now because of the influence of these PACs, it's putting a light on you that there is no way that you could be a real candidate because you haven't raised enough money, because you're an unknown, because you're new, which is what we keep saying we want. So there's a lot of some misfiring logic that's going on here, and it's not what I think is the most frustrating about all of this. And I will give Cari 100% of the support in this, is that when dark money comes in, it makes everything so fucking ugly.
Totally.
And I think
Yeah.
and I think the anger needs to be focused at the dark money groups, not at the candidates that it affects.
I'm
Because-
still not there. So where are you at with data centers?
It's a no until the people of Montana overwhelmingly say that they want it.
What does that mean? Like it's a no, like so if I can say, like, here's the thing. I'm a data
No
center
means
hoe.
no.
No, hold on. I'm a data center hoe. So if you were to say, like, look, I'm not going to do data centers, I'll work with you. I'll fight you. I'll fight with you. I'll do everything you got. But I haven't heard that from you. And I haven't heard that from Seth either.
I've said it over and over again. It is a no for me, unless I believe legislators represent the will of the people. If the majority of Montanans say, you know what, the tech companies brought us a plan where they're not using our water, they're not using our electricity, and it's fiscally beneficial to the community for forever, and we can verify and hold them accountable to that. Okay, Alani, we're open to data centers. It'd have to be over 51% of the constituents be okay with that. But overwhelmingly, everybody we've talked to on every side of the aisle says no. I believe the only people who are against no data centers are, I think, the chambers of commerce, right? And like maybe some of the unions, right? But absolutely not. Like, government should be focused on the people, not businesses, not tech billionaires. I heard Montana loud and clear. We're not supporting data centers. No means no. I agree with you, Cari.
Unions. So, it's Cari, but it's fine.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
No, it's good. It's kind of an inside thing.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. So okay. So here's the thing that I didn't like about you, or didn't like about you. The thing I don't kind of like about you is I'm kind of like softening my stance towards you, because now you've given me these answers. So now I'm like, oh shit, okay, now I can work with this. So the unions are going to be really fucking fighting these to no end, and they're being mean and they're being nasty. How mean are you, and how nasty are you going to get when you got the party saying, hey, we got to follow the unions because because that's their money. The unions are their money. So how nasty are you going to get with the union guys when they're like, nope, we need data centers. We need jobs.
So I want to point out first that nobody told me that we have to get along with the party lines on data centers. That was never said to me.
One second. I don't even know if there is a Democrat party line on data centers, to be quite honest with you. Go ahead.
Sure.
Currently, there is not. I just looked at the plank. So, no. Although there may be after June 20th, right, because I believe somebody named Cari is going to be there pushing for some. I don't know.
Thank God she's nice and not emotional.
Anyway, so continue.
So
Sorry,
unions, yeah. So I've never been told by anybody in the party, like, you have to toe the line on whatever lines on AI, data centers and the unions. So bigger picture, when I meet with the unions, they've actually never said anything to me about AI data centers. What they are concerned with is everybody's losing out on job opportunities, right? They're economically not doing well, just like the rest of the state. They want any jobs that are going to create money for them and their families. And so for me as a legislator, my job is to go fight for the resources so that Montana thrives at the end of the day. And I think that goes well beyond AI data centers. I think for the unions, as long as you are supporting their mission, and by the way, Montana needs better infrastructure, especially in education, right? There's plenty of opportunities to get unions these jobs that are outside of data centers. And there's a way to create win-wins for everybody on this. I believe that's how I've been able to work my career, is to say, what do you want? And even they might say AI data center, which they haven't, by the way, to me. But when I ask them, what do you really want? What they say is, I want to put food on my kid's table. Right? So as long as I'm meeting the need of putting food on their table by getting them jobs, they don't care where that money comes from. It's just AI data centers are the things that are getting pitched, right?
Yeah. But so with that same logic, what if they said, well, this is it. I got to go. This is AI data center. I got nothing else. So you'll be like, well, you got to put food on the table.
No, but what I'm saying is it's my job to fight for the resources. So that's not their only option. That's what a legislator does. Right. The problem is we don't have legislators that do that at the federal level.
And so also the problem is with that PAC that's been helping your campaign win, it's Jason Carroll. He's directly tied to data centers. All this hostility and my meanness comes from, it all goes back to data centers. So the billionaire who bought our primary for $62 per vote is a data center guy.
Right. So having been career law enforcement, people have tried to buy me off and they were never successful. I've put corrupt government officials in jail. My parents.
Oh. What are the name of the politicians that you put in jail? And no shit. That is a question that I get all the time. I guess that you can't, like you say that you put politicians in jail. I just want a couple names.
I said I put government officials in jail. I've put government officials.
Never politicians.
I think I have put politicians in. I'd have to think about. I mean, I think there was a. I will get you the links to a couple of the government officials that I've put in jail. I honestly, I've worked so many cases. It's hard to keep track of all of them because it's literally hundreds of cases. But I will put links in the chat of two of the guys that are government officials that I've put in jail.
You can just email them to me. That'd be great.
Cool.
I appreciate that.
Alani, along those lines, I know one of the questions I had asked you before is, you've talked about your history in the military and the service, and a lot of people have brought up, oh, we don't know if her service is real. I'm like,
yeah, that's
we kind of do, because we would have a bunch of people that would be like, no, I've never worked with her. She doesn't fucking exist. Very quickly. I do know several people in the military that have done that. One of my friends, one of my high school classmates actually, was one of the people who exposed John Walsh for plagiarism. So
that's an interesting case.
Yeah. So it's not like they wouldn't do that right away, because they love doing that shit, because stolen valor is something they fucking hate.
Sure.
Yep. Stolen valor is a big deal.
Right. And I brought up Alani. I was like, are you going to be able to publish something? And I know you're still working on all of the redactions and getting that through.
Yeah.
The Department of Defense has to approve it. So whenever they can get around to it, when they're not drinking in Iran or whatever it is they do.
Right. Yeah. So what's the concern?
Oh no, I just think it's that people want to see it. Like, not the
what like what's the biggest what's the biggest thing people want to see?
Your stories don't add up, is what I'm hearing.
Which story? Which stories?
The story about how the dog can smell the industrial glue, the putting the politicians in jail.
Let me. I'll answer those one at a time. There's literally a TED talk that we did.
I know, I saw it.
Dogs. So what is the? I don't understand what the.
Look, you wanted to know. You wanted to know the questions. Why don't you just shut us all up, especially me, because I'm just such a fucking bitch. Just release your military records. I mean, that would shut us all up. That would shut me up in a heartbeat.
I thought Kevin just told you that it was going to get released, but there have to be redactions and they have to get approvals. Did he not just say
How long will that take?
How long will that take? Did he not just say that? I don't
know. I didn't hear that. I apologize, Kev. I apologize, Kev. Hey, quiet. I apologize, Kev. I didn't mean to disrespect you there. There we go. I wasn't listening when you said that, Kev. I apologize. So how long will that take, do you think?
I'm not entirely sure. It's the DOD. But it's, I mean, it's
Which
like,
is unfortunate.
that's why I'm saying
who's asking for it? Is it you? I mean, I don't know. I've never been in the military, but there's got to be a way that you can release these a lot faster. There's got to be a way.
Cari, what I'm asking you is, what specific questions do you have? There are specific lines that I can read to you from my record right now while the DOD is approving all the redactions. And when you started with the dog, right? I said the TEDx is out there. And that was not enough for you. That was not enough for you. You just said. You said it didn't add up. So I don't understand.
If I don't take you at your word now, how am I supposed to watch a 13-minute video and be like, "Yep, she's correct"?
But I don't understand. You just watched.
But hold on. Can I finish? You asked how many people. I'm going to keep talking. I'm the biggest. My bitch will always outbitch yours. So here's the thing. So you asked me what are the stories that people are worried about, and this is what I'm answering. Kev, let me talk to you. Kev, did she not? Stop it. You're 43. So Kev, question for you. Did she not ask, what are the stories out there that people don't like? And I said, okay. And I named them off. I didn't say me. Right. I said, these are the stories that people don't like.
Hold on. And you asked the first question. She answered it. And you said, well, if I can't trust you now, how can I not trust you then? I can't make you trust somebody. But
but it's okay to ask. It's okay to ask for military records. And why can't that come out sooner?
Okay. And she said,
that's all I'm asking.
Because the Department of Defense retracts everything when they're dealing with national security. That's
right.
Point blank, that happens.
By the way, the dog has nothing to do with national security. Okay. The dog, you started with the dog. You said it doesn't add up. I said there's a TED Talk. You said I watched it and you're still not satisfied. So what is it? I've
never heard, and this is what I've heard from other people. We've never heard that a dog can smell child porn off of like the industrial porn off of the industrial glue.
But ma'am,
and then you were fixed by that, and then someone told you, well, that's actually not true. And then the next time they saw you, you had fixed that and you had turned it to electrical devices. So I have samples like that where I'm like, that's just weird. That just doesn't add up.
So
I'm sitting here as a Montanan, and I'm so scared for my state. I've got a Democratic Party that would rather work with Republicans than Democrats. And I've got someone who I don't know, and I'm looking at her FEC with my background, and I'm like, well, how the hell did she get there? When I can draw the dark money.
Cari, so sometimes when I talk about Lulu, I say she's a porn sniffing dog, right? For ease of talking. What she actually does is she finds digital media that contains child pornography. So she finds the hard devices.
And she smells that through the industrial glue?
Yes, ma'am. There is a chemical that coats, a glue that coats all digital media devices, anything that stores digital photos and videos. That glue is designed to prevent your device from overheating. It has a distinct scent. That is what the dogs are smelling. So even though you're right, she's not actually sniffing child porn because child porn does not have a smell. She finds the devices for ease of conversation. We say they're porn sniffing dogs.
No, that's not how I was told. But anyways, and even on your, so it is what it is. I mean, that was one of the consistencies. Another consistency was that you wrote the war plan as a civilian. You put politicians in jail. You can't name
officials in jail.
You said politicians. It's just stuff like that where you're just like, what is he talking about? I mean, it's okay to say like, this is so bizarre to me. And then when I'm looking at it and the black and white on the paper, I mean, you can see how someone can get there and be like, okay, what is really going on here?
I think.
And then how long it took me to get you to tell me that your dad's years of working in West Point.
No,
I asked you that last night.
No, I don't.
But again, you owe me nothing. You owe Montana nothing. That's what you're saying. Exactly, because I'm just a Montana. Who the fuck am I? I'm just a loser. By
No,
the
I
way,
did not
there
say
are
that.
a
I
million
did not say
losers in
that.
the state of
I did
Montana
not say
Hold
that
on.
are
Can
that.
we take a
demanding
Stop.
break
that you.
here?
Kari,
Yeah, let's
stop.
take a break,
At
everybody.
this point, it's gotten
Let's
to the
just
point where you're
reset.
just being antagonistic because you want
This
us
is
No,
to
not
she
be
how we
sits
angry
there.
program.
about it.
She sits there and says that she doesn't have to answer to me. I'm just a voter, so she doesn't have to answer to voters now.
No, no,
That's
There.
not a good
Okay.
look.
Kari, I don't
That's not a good
listen,
look.
Kari. I believe in mutual respect, like I said. I've not accused you of anything. I've not been nasty in any way. I'm asking for dignity the same way I give you.
At what point am I not giving you dignity?
You're yelling at
Honestly,
me.
like, what am I doing?
You're yelling at me.
Oh, wait, hold on. What if I take these off? Because I don't realize that. Hold on.
No, I can't hear you.
You're muted.
Now you're
You're
muted.
muted.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
There you are.
Because I think with these on, I just talk louder because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me
Well,
at
if
all?
you're angry and you're loud, yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
I wanna be really clear, Kari. I respect you and I respect every human. Period.
Can I jump in here? I have a
Yes.
question,
Please.
if you don't mind, if we can
Please.
maybe
Yeah.
take
go
a break
ahead.
for a second. Moving forward,
Mhm.
it's very clear in this race that you're going to be up against a large amount of money.
Mhm.
And what is your strategy to take that on? And how do you plan to handle, the idea that you are very likely going to be outspent, if not have been outspent already?
Sure. Yeah, that's a really good question, Allie. Thanks for asking it. And I'm going to default to when my whole career, I've done impossible things with little to no money. So I have always looked at what we have and we just make it happen with that amount, right? Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but when I look at the data of what happened in the past, right? When we came into this race, people were like, who's this chick? Nobody knows her. There's no way she's going to win, right? And part of the point of the race is to bring government back to of the people, by the people, for the people. I believe that anybody can run for office. That's what the founders intended it. And
I believe
the
that too.
trust that has been broken between government and the people is abhorrent. And I, never saw myself in politics. I'm running because I deployed and got shot at and bombed and went through all kinds of trauma. And I'm pissed that people are suffering. Like, this is not how things should be in the richest country in the world. And I was like, I'm a person, I'm a citizen, I can run, right? And so it was a miracle. I wish the dark money had never come in, right? But the reality is that I wish we could have like a little map where it's like, you're here on the journey, right? We went from this chick is a nobody knows her. And by the way, the dark money, although it was out of my control, if I did not have a compelling background, it would not have worked. If that money had been put towards Michael Hummert or Chris Kehoe, great guys, by the way, it wouldn't have worked because they don't have the terrorist spy, pedo hunting background, right? But with that being said, yeah, go ahead.
I don't think any of that mentioned your background though, did it? Because the ones I saw were just going after like the one I saw from the veteran pack was the confusing one. But okay, go ahead. I apologize. I talked.
I think the confusing one was, are you talking about the one where it said she's a Trump conservative person that will help immigrants?
No, be an informed voter. That one.
Oh,
I had a neighbor stop by. He was like, I don't get it. And I was reading it. I was like, well, that's progressive PAC. They're for Bankhead. And then I read it and I said, wait, that doesn't make sense. It was just that confusion.
Yeah,
that's the one.
I mean, we lost track. It was hard to keep track of all the ads at the end. But coming back to Allie's question, so honestly, we've done the impossible that said couldn't happen. Also, by the way, when we started this race, everybody said Montana was red. There was no way this seat was going to flip. But last month, Americans for Prosperity sent a note to the Senate GOP leadership and said Montana's Senate seat is at risk of getting flipped blue. Right. So to me, we are here. We are 50% of the way through this impossible thing that could never happen. Right. So Allie, like, my plan is the money's starting to come in, which I'm really thankful for. Don't get me wrong. But we're going to just fight like hell and give it everything we got and leave it all out on the field because that's all I know how to do. Our team is completely grassroots, and I'm proud as hell of every person, that is on the team. They are all, almost none of them have done politics. My treasurer was Andy Shirtliff's treasurer. But beyond that, people are like, these are no names. And I'm like, they're Montanans and they care and they want to be part of the solution. So
Jerry's not a no name. She comes from a very political family.
Well, but Jerry
Who?
herself was not Jerry Busey.
Jerry,
But
see?
Jerry herself was not in politics. Like her sister was in politics, right? But Jerry's not in politics normally.
Right.
So all that to say, fundraise like hell. We did a miracle the first time. We're trusting that a miracle is going to come. I know that's not like a great answer, or maybe that doesn't make you happy, but
No. I was curious because like it's great, from the standpoint that the dark money helped you get to this point.
Right.
It's likely not going to be there now
Right.
moving forward
Right.
if
Right.
our suspicions about the dark money itself turn out
Sure.
to be like it's looking. And so I was wondering like how you plan to overcome that, especially because I'm looking at it from a standpoint of in the primary, to me, it looked like
Sure.
on both sides of the aisle, people chose the candidates that took the most PAC money kind of across the board for the most part. And so I'm looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, wow, like that's a big hill to climb. And I was wondering what your strategy or, without divulging too much would be for that.
And that's a good point. Slight teeny tiny correction, if I may. I didn't take PAC money. I didn't ask for, I have not received any, right? Now, the other thing that I've noticed is, again, I don't know any Montanans that want bought and paid for politicians. And that's one of our strategies moving forward is you guys said you don't want this. These two are this. I am not this. Right. And so there's strategies like that around the messaging of the fact that they're backed by DC insiders, both of them. Right. And Montana says they don't want that. So again, they have money, but Montana has people and they can't buy people unless people want to be bought. Right. And I think obviously one of the things we haven't talked about is that a lot of times the dark money will influence kind of the less educated, but the people who are not willing to do their research to discern what's true and what's not true, right? And so I think that's where we use the grassroots concept across the board to help educate people on, hey, I know you heard this, right? But here's the truth. And right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I would jump in there and maybe just kind of point out on that particular point. I think a lot of people feel proximity to power with the money, and they feel more empowered keeping the money closer to them. And they feel, I can't tell you how many times over this cycle I have heard that you can't win a race without money. You can't do anything without big money.
No money.
And so it's one of those situations where I don't think it's necessarily, I think that, information informing voters is huge. That's a big deal. But I think more than anything, like it's a proximity to power. And so it's like, how do you, maybe that's the better way for me to phrase my question is like, how are you going to empower Montanans to stand lock-armed with each other against the big money that has basically stolen our representation from us?
For sure.
They see Montana as an easy access point for national politics for a relatively low amount of money compared to other places.
Right. And that's a really great question. So first, what I'll say is what we see across the state, and we do have the benefit of going statewide and talking to thousands of people. It feels like this year, all the rules are out, right? So if name recognition mattered, he wouldn't have won last cycle. If polls mattered, Hillary would have been president. If money mattered, Tester would have been reelected because he outraised Sheehy. Right. So the fact that we won with 26,000 or whatever in
23.
Thank you. In individual contributions. It's another little data point to say the old rules are out. And Montana, it wasn't that I barely won. I won with double digits. Right. So that's pretty decisive. And to your point, this is where our theory, and I believe our theory is right because I've actually seen it work in other areas. Nobody does grassroots better than Montana. And I know like probably the biggest like down point about me that folks say is I'm not from here. And I get that. The fact that I'm not from here is the reason why I have the experience that I do, because the military told me where to live my whole life up until I got to choose Montana for the first time in my life. And so with that being said, I can reflect back to Montana.
That was a good pick. I'll give you that. That was a good pick.
Thank you.
That was a good pick.
But so I have the benefit because I've worked all around the world with different cultures. When I see how unique and amazing Montana culture is, right? Family, freedom, community, common sense, hard work. You don't find that mixture anywhere else in the world. But if you're born and raised here, you don't know that that's special. And I hear it all the time. People are like, that's just us. I'm like, I know, but it's special. And that's why the Montana Plan has made national news. That's why bipartisan opposition to the sale of public lands via the Big Beautiful Bill made national news. That's why the Nasty Nine made national news. There's no other state in the country that has any bipartisan work happening. And that's because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, at its core, at its truest like identity, Montana's purple, right? So the campaign, the whole intent is to awaken people to that truth and remind them of who we are as a state. And I hear what you're saying, Cari, about, and it has turned more red, but you know what's funny? I've had a lot of MAGA callers since the ads came out, because the progressive vet pack ads would say anti-MAGA Alani Bankhead, right? And MAGA would call and be like, why are you anti-MAGA? And we'd have this whole conversation. And when we got down to the core truth, what they would say was, you know, I used to be a Democrat and the party abandoned me. And that's why I turned Republican and I'm really hurt. Right. And honestly, I think a lot of them want to be convinced, right? They went to Trump because they felt abandoned. And that's what we're trying to do as well with the campaign, is say, you do matter, right? And by the way, I've said this before too. When my first conversation with the party, they told me, don't go to the Eastern counties. They don't matter. They don't sway the needle on votes, which is wrong. I was like, that's not how democracy works, but okay. Right.
And then you talked to me and I said, if you don't go to Miles City, we're going to have a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we went as much as we could to the Eastern counties, because the point of the campaign is every individual matters, right? And Cari, you know, even in the beginning when I'm like, please, mutual respect, like, it's because I believe every human deserves dignity and respect, including the most forgotten people in Montana. And that's why we're so focused on and spreading that message, which I know it takes time and money, right? But yeah.
Can I ask just one more question, and then
please.
I will open it up to anybody else to ask questions. To me, okay, so I'm kind of a self-avowed feminist. You know, it's an ever-discovering thing. And it seems as though there's a lot of misogyny already floating around, particularly in your race, but also across politics in general. And so as a woman, and given the history that Montana has only elected one woman to federal office, and that was Jeanette Rankin, how do you plan to combat the misogyny and to convince people that it's time for a woman to take federal leadership for Montana?
Yeah. Can I back up for a second and ask a clarifying question? When you said there seems to be misogyny in your race, I think you said, what did you mean by that?
Well, I'm talking about how, already Seth Bodner has framed it as him versus Kurt
Good point.
As 49-49.
Sure.
And has not even bothered to indicate that you even exist in this race. I think it's incredibly disrespectful, if you ask me. But the reason that I ask is that I wonder if they're just going to try to overrun the female candidate and just rely on internalized misogyny to discredit you.
Sure.
I'm sorry, from a man's point of view, can I just tell you that all of this is exactly what men are going to do?
Right.
There's misogyny from men. Everybody put on your shock face for 10 seconds. Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So how am I going to overcome the misogyny? And that's a really great question, right? And that's a fair question. So there's, to me, I identify everything as there's things in my control, there's things not in my control. what's in my control is what I can share with people, how I can engage, how I can communicate, right? Part of that work involves, number one, to your point, reminding Montanans who we are. And we are the first state that sent a woman to Congress before women could even vote. And Montanans are very proud of that, right? Number one. Number two, I am military. I am law enforcement. I hunt child predators. Very masculine spaces. And even though we were courting Democrats pre-primary, we would still run into conservatives and Republicans who would see about my background and they'd be like,
I need it for the meetings.
I'm voting for you because we need someone who's going to fight the Epstein class, right? That's been another point, actually, is more than anything, people want the Epstein class held accountable. And that's across the board, right? And so when we talk about, I've held the Epstein class accountable before, I've put corrupt people in jail before, people like that track record, right? So again, we're in theory mode, and part of it is grassroots too, right? It's one conversation at a time. And we did the calculations. It's some roundabout. If for every person who voted for me, if they convince 5 people to vote for me, we win. That's what the data says. Now, of course, like a chunk of the Democrats that didn't vote for me would vote for me, right? And then that maybe brings it down to if you convince 3 people, the people who voted for me, that's doable, right? And that's another thing. People feel like the election is overwhelming, but when we chunk it down to all you need to do is convince 3 people and that's it. And they're like, I can do that. I can totally do that. Right. So it's layered, and we have different strategies in terms of how do we empower grassroots leaders to spread the message. And it is one conversation at a time. And at the end of the day, I'm not emotionally tied to if people like me or vote for me or not. My job is to protect and serve Montana and do the best I can at running this race. That's what I've done my whole career. And, obviously, like, I don't want to fall short because I want the suffering alleviated. And by the way, I'm the only candidate in the race that has trusted DC contacts with awesome get shit done people that care about humanity, that are ready for me to come back to DC so we can hold government accountable. And to your point, Cari, if you haven't found stuff on me, I'm a very private person. And Frank, I mean, there's lots on my professional stuff out there, but one of the biggest detractors in running for office was I didn't want to lose my privacy. And all of my friends are very private individuals, right? So, but at the end of the day, that's a sacrifice that I made and that my family made because democracy's at stake right now. Montana's at stake right now. And so to me, this is a war, and it's us versus the Epstein class. So, so I mean, again, it's theory mode, but honestly, Allie, I've done so many of these grassroots movements, not in politics, but in protecting children and other people from exploitation. It felt the same way. It felt impossible. It felt like it would never get off the ground. And then it did. And so that's what we believe. Obviously, I would love to have you guys support because you obviously have platforms that are very impressive and you have influence. But all I can do is say, this is who I am, and you get to decide.
Okay, I'm going to say one more bitchy thing, and then I'm going to chill the fuck out. Okay? Are we there?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so I actually kind of think we could maybe be friends here. Because I think if you could get to that anger with what Seth has done to you, I can't even touch that for you because I'm angry for you on that. Are you fucking kidding me? How many days did he ignore you? And he still does.
But Cari, I love it. I love that he's doing that. You want to know why? Because remember, like what we've heard, right? When I'm like, but the sex discrimination lawsuit, and people are like, he said he inherited that. It was something that happened before he got there. He was cleaning up the mess, right? He's not a sexist at all.
No merit.
Right. It wasn't me, right? And now I work in human intelligence. Behavior is language. The fact that he has excluded me proves that he's a misogynist. So for me, I'm like, honey, keep posting not about me. Keep excluding me from the conversation. 50% of voters are women. And they're going to see that because they're
53% in Montana.
53%.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, I'm like, keep being you, boo. Keep being you.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to say one bitchy thing about dark money, and you
Please.
cannot sit there and go, don't say anything. Okay, so a month ago, you said that the Senate, the U.S. senators were worried, Republican senators were worried about this race.
Mhm.
Okay, let's be honest. They weren't worried about you. They were worried about Riley Neal. And that was when, if a month ago, was when progressive vet tax started, was April 27th of 2026. I mean, if that's not dark money path, I don't know what dark money path is.
So can I be really honest?
And I'm not, okay, go ahead.
I appreciate the way that your brain works. Like, you're very analytical. Having worked in operations where everything has to be coordinated and perfectly timed, we have a phrase that no op plan survives first contact. Like, Murphy's Law is always going to intervene. Shit's always going to get fucked up. I mean, that's a lot of hoops to jump through. And I'm not like, I'm not in the business.
Not.
I mean,
because here's the thing. Hold on.
I
I worked on the other side. So I know this stuff. I fit from like the, like how you get it, how you start up a pack. It doesn't take that much. It really doesn't. It's not that hard to do anything.
Sure.
I mean, these guys have done it before.
I know, but what you're like, and I'm not going to try to change your mind because that's I respect your perspective, but I believe that the simplest solution is usually what the truth is. And when it gets too convoluted and complicated, it's just,
so then I'm right.
No, I'm saying, I mean,
no, because not about you, but about like, they got word, the progressive table got word about, they're worried Riley's raised too much money. Then all of a sudden, poof, we're going to start this path. I mean, I'm just saying that.
But remember that More Jobs, Less Government started pouring money into Riley's race before Progressive Vet PAC came in.
Who is that one? That's not Eaton. Who is that one?
That's Danes.
Yeah, no,
that's
Jake Eaton.
Yeah.
That's Jake Eaton.
So it was
less more. It's not.
It was like 5 or 6 weeks
Jake
before.
Eaton is the executive director of that.
Oh, okay. For less
Dane's
okay.
PAC is run by Jake
Have
Eaton.
you met him yet?
No.
Oh God.
No.
So you're not missing anything. Okay.
Right.
So here's my question. How are you you're up against a guy who's got this pass, right? And then as I'm researching you, I'm researching him. And as a military background, it would have been nice being able to call you like, oh my gosh, guess what I'm finding? And I don't know if I can trust you to do that. And I want to be able to trust you because here's the thing. I think that you have the possibility to run as a good Democrat. This is how a good Democrat runs. But here's the thing. What I'm seeing from a party that I'm coming back into after so many years of being gone and not touching it, I'm like, where is my party?
Right. I get it. I get it.
I have an email to a Democrat legislator who's running, not legislator, but a candidate who's saying, hey, now you said we need to support the Republican. We're going to now support the Republican candidate. This is where we're at. And it's this consultant life that was like, they're just trying to still get paid. And this is my fear. And so I'm standing like, how ballsy and gutsy are you going to get? Like, you're up against billions of dollars. So are you going to go to the wall and like how I do? I don't fucking stop. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll go into anyone's face, right?
Sure.
That's what we need in the state of Montana, especially for Democrats, because you've got Democrats that are working against you. You've got the leadership in the Montana Democrats who should be walked out the door that are selling you out.
Cari, I hear what you're saying. The thing is that I've literally been in life and death situations. Like, I've talked to and looked in the eye Al-Qaeda operatives that killed Americans and people that wanted to kill me, right? I've dealt with kids who've been raped, the most horrific of situations. When I'm in that space, the politics does not fucking matter to me because all I care about is protecting Montanans. So when you want to talk about how far am I willing to go, I already signed a blank check for my life in 2004. And the funny thing is that's what they're most scared of because I will literally die for this country. And again, if you look at my track record, I've put over a dozen Al-Qaeda terrorist leaders. I've held them accountable, right? I was the person in Iraq with briefcases full of money. I would meet with informants. I'd get intelligence. I'd give that intelligence to special ops. They would go kill or capture the terrorist. That's what I did. And I held accountable men that killed Americans. And I will fucking do it again. Right? And my family, by the way, my family has been threatened. When we were working trafficking cases in another jurisdiction, they threatened my family. And I had to deal with all the emotion of, I'm like, you can kill me, but don't fucking touch my family, right? That scared me.
Yeah.
I've dealt with that. My husband and I have plans. Like, by the way, we're both former bodyguards. Please come to my house and fucking try some shit, right?
I have glitter.
But all that to say, I know you see calm, collected Alani, but there's another side of me that when life is threatened, I will fuck shit up. And
what if, but what if it's not like I have a pew pew to your head threatened? It's, hey, we've got a guy who doesn't even want to like acknowledge it, or we've got, you know, like, I mean, I think this shit with you, after talking to you, in all honesty, I think this shit with you is easy to clear up. I think this with you is put out your records. It shuts all of us up. And here's the thing: the people that I'm talking to, these are people that would go to the fucking wall for a good Democrat. These are the people who would go knock on doors and really make sure that your movement got up and running.
I hear you, Cari, and I appreciate that. And what I will say, now that I understand your style a little bit better, I get it. You're the feisty one that will take the hill, right? As a human intelligence person and as an investigator, we're taught you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. You know, like when you preface, like, I'm going to say something bitchy, I'm like, cool, awesome, no problem, right? But so listen, at the end of the day, I have nothing to hide. We will release the parts of my record that will verify my terrorism, my counter-espionage, my child hunting stuff. It just takes time, and we are a grassroots campaign. We're going as fast and as hard as we can. By the way, I jumped on here because I'm not scared of having a hard conversation, and I appreciate Kevin.
No, I think it's balls and steel. Like, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm being nice.
Right,
like, yes,
right.
absolutely.
No, and I appreciate that. So, but with that being said, I am an open book. If you have questions, please let me know. And frankly, again, and I say this with all the respect and love in the world to everybody, I'm not emotionally tied to the outcome of this race. My job is to run as fucking hard as I can, and my team is doing that. We are going to win in November. But what I'm saying is we're doing the very best we can. And I know for some people it's not good enough because folks are just like hanging out waiting for me to do all the things at once. I'm a human being, right? We have limited capacity. So now if there's something where you're like, Alani, I want to know about your terrorism stuff, I can open my file and I can read a line to you. And then when the redactions come out, you will see that same line that I'm telling you. I can do that for you right now, but you have to tell me what you have the most concerns about.
Mine was your military background and the wonkiness. And Alon, I think that some of this is you had some other candidates standing by you, and we all say stupid shit, right? Like I've said stupid stuff, and like especially when you're in a speech, like you're not writing a prepared speech. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe some of that is the confusion, right?
Maybe, yeah,
like,
sure.
And so it's just I'm just trying to tell you, like it's just that easy. But we've got a bigger problem in the state of Montana. Hey, like, look, if you're on board with me with a freaking data center, I'll go knock every day for you. I don't give a fuck because I am emotionally tied to this state. I will die for this state, just so you know. I don't give exactly. So that's what we will lose everything if we get data centers in this state.
Right.
So that's why I'm so passionate. And here's what pisses me off is, again, I think that we've gotten to this space because we've been too goddamn nice. We've been too damn like, oh, it's okay.
I agree.
We'll take the hit. And here's the thing: when I put so my filter, because your filter is different, my filter is very political and it's very schemy, creepy. Like, oh, I'll get this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when I'm putting the timeline together, I'm like, oh, what are we doing here, right? But now we've got a bigger problem. We've got an independent candidate that has 2 million, 2.5 million. I mean, like at some point, like we got to come together. So how are you going to get this? Yeah.
I agree.
So how do we do it? How do we get them back together? Because you've got leadership that's working actively against you.
Right. And by the way, I'm not new to leadership working against me. When I worked child rape cases, my biggest barrier was never the pedophiles and the traffickers, it was the government. So I've dealt with this. I've dealt with this for years, and this is not new space for me. I think where we go is, by the way, you're passionate, Allie is passionate, of course, Kev, the Grandmaster. Like, the point is, we have civil discourse. We can clear up our differences, and then we come together and we beat these guys. That's how we win, right? And I'll be honest, my perspective, I don't respond to hateful conversations or hateful comments because I just don't have time and energy. Like, I'm assuming if you're coming at me, and I'm not saying you, anybody's coming
at me. That's fine. I came at you.
Right. If people are coming at me like that, there's no way I'm going to change their minds. So I'm not going to expend the energy for someone who's committed to misunderstanding me. But on a personal note, it is heartbreaking to see the party fractured, because we have to be unified to beat them. And I'm doing everything I can. I showed up today in an effort to unify. And
I appreciate that.
That's the spirit we want to continue moving forward. And the Republicans, you're not seeing Trump signs around the state anymore. When we knock Republican doors, they're telling us they're pissed off about new wars. They're pissed off about the gas prices and how expensive everything is. I just interviewed a 3-time Trump voter on our podcast, Montana Matters. We actually agreed on 100% of things. He's like, I voted for Trump because he said no new wars and he said affordability. That's what I wanted. I thought the Republicans would be the way to get there. Boy, was I wrong. Right? And so, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to say something about bringing it together, but go ahead. I apologize.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, how we get there is we have these conversations and we figure out how to bridge the divide. And thank you for hanging in there with me for it. I really respect the hell out of you guys for being, willing to have these conversations, because this is what's going to inspire America. And by the way, it sounds cheesy as hell. It's fucking true. Montana has the seeds to inspire the rest of the country. I know this. And that's what we have to take to DC. What I do, I'm not a policy expert. I take experts with me and I cut through bureaucratic red tape for them. Cari, you want to be the data center policy advisor to the next US Senator? You just tell me, what do you need? And I cut through bureaucratic red tape. I'm serious. This is how I work.
I appreciate that, but I can just see, like, Cari, you cannot tell the US Senator to go fuck himself and then storm out the room. I don't know. Just that's what first came to my mind.
The character arc of this entire show has really come full circle.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing.
I do kind of want to get to the point where we can wrap up, because we have been going for 2.5 hours, which is a long time. But here's the thing that I want to point out. Okay.
1 second. Give me 2 seconds. Alana? Sorry, I can't pronounce it.
It's okay. It's okay.
In a lot of ways, I can't pronounce your first name, so that's why I go Bankhead. I have a learning disability, so that's my full disclosure.
No worries.
So can we have a conversation real fast offline? Just give me 2 minutes. I need to talk to you about something. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. That's all. And now I'm done. I will shut up. Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. And you don't even have to shut up. What I do, I kind of want to wrap up, but I want to point out that this is one of those things where politics gets really difficult because everybody has the thing that they're really tied to. And whether that's the queer community, which is the thing that I'm really tied to, or women's rights and bodily autonomy, or data centers, or whatever it is that you're really tied to, when you find a candidate that meets the qualifications in such a glorious way for the thing that you want to accomplish, and they lose in whatever capacity that they lose, especially in a primary where you have somebody else who isn't as good but is on the same team, but you didn't choose them, and it's this whole big drama. It is very uncomfortable. And there have been many times in the past where Democratic primaries have been proxies for internal fighting in the party, and I feel like this primary fits in that very much so. I think another one that happened here in town, was also a proxy fight. It had very little to do with the actual candidates. It had everything to do with the people behind the scenes, the KTDRs that were involved felt like they had to step up their power and be. KTDR is Kiss the Ring Democrats or
Yeah.
Kiss the Damn Ring.
Right.
Anyway, and I feel like we've been in these positions over and over again. And when you have them happen, where you have, for me, these fractures are happening in people I know around me, and
Okay.
like
Okay.
I have the different factions that I'm working with and talking to and engaged with, and like I'm working with Cari on. We've got to talk about data centers and how we're going to fix it and what the PSC can do about it and why I'm running and how it's important to be there. And I'm working with Allie talking about how the PSC, because they affect energy prices, are affecting people's homes and homelessness, their
Yes.
ability to pay their bills, their ability to pay for food.
Yeah.
And it's causing people to lose their bodily autonomy because they lose their freedom. And so we have all these different things, but when the people that are allies in certain ways become factions that I have to navigate, it gets really exhausting. And so when I brought this up to Alani and I'm like, hey, I have two people that have been talking about your race and you specifically because they don't have any communication with you yet. They haven't had a chance to meet you because everybody's been busy. It's been a very short campaign. This is all drama. Plus, there's Dark Bunny, which pisses everybody off. I totally get it. Oh, would you be willing to face kind of the fire today and talk to somebody who has no intention of ever becoming your ally? And Alani said, yeah, I'm in. We'll do it. And
I
then when I brought it up to
that. Big
Cari and
time.
Allie, when I brought it up to Cari and Allie, and I was like, hey, we can bring her on, both of you said, you know what? Yes, let's do this. And yeah, if somebody watches this whole video, they're going to be like, ooh, that was uncomfortable. There was a lot of uncomfy here. I'm uncomfortable. I would like a soda and a break. We did as well.
And
Just so you know.
I bet me and her both thought, oh, it's just Monday at 2.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me at all.
Literally.
It didn't bother me at all.
Well,
Yeah,
I
and-
would like
Okay.
to point out really quick if I can. I'm sorry, and
No,
then
you're
I
good.
can be done. But these are the kinds of difficult conversations more people need to be having.
Yes.
And yeah, it's contentious and yeah, uncomfortable and yeah, it's like ooh. But if we can find a way to navigate conversations exactly like this in our personal lives, in our professional lives, in our political lives, a lot more becomes clear and a lot more cohesion happens. And so I just want to thank everybody for coming on and talking about this today. I'm super grateful for the opportunity to ask hard questions, to hear hard questions, to hear answers to hard questions, and to get multiple perspectives because everybody here has a little bit different perspective of what's happening.
Right.
And so it's nice to bring all those perspectives together and give people an opportunity to kind of, put them up next to each other and see, okay, what do I really think about all of this?
Right. Yeah. No, and to piggyback off
thanks
that,
for being
like, I agree with you, Allie. Thank you for saying that. And coming back to like remembering who we are, like have you guys been to Independence Hall in Philadelphia? Okay.
Not my favorite. I like the Constitutional Museum better. Sorry.
It is nice. No, yeah. But when you're in the room and you remember that our forefathers fought like hell. I mean, it was bad, like worse than what we like experience today. But they were committed to finding that solution. And that's how a 2-house legislature, the brilliance of you have a Senate that everybody gets equal representation and a House where it's based on population. That was born of these kinds of conversations. And that's why I agree that we need to have a lot more of this. And thank you, Kev, for providing the platform to do that. And I'm available to you guys now that I know Cari's not just like trying to dog just for the sake of dogging,
bitch just calling me names.
But
I get it.
But yeah, I'm always like, people will message all the time. I will try to answer every single message because that's how important every Montanan is to me. But yeah, thank you both for hanging in there. And thank you, Kevin. You're amazing. You're all amazing.
I was waiting at one point for it to go black. I was like, Kevin's cutting us off soon. I know it's coming. So I was just doing that.
No.
So I appreciate that.
And And here's the thing, I've been involved in these contentious things and I've had people walk away when I'm pissed off about something or when they're pissed off about something and I'm not answering the question the right way. I get it. I understand where it's coming from. It's really tough to get through those moments. We don't have the opportunity to walk away anymore because that
Yeah.
walking away has allowed other people to fill those gaps. And that makes us, it just widens the gaps. They're filling it with expanding foam and making it bigger. So instead of doing that, we have to do these things where it's like, yeah, I know all these people. I know they're right now, they haven't talked it. It's created this thing where we've got conspiracy theories happening over here and we've got ideas happening over here and people are getting facts and it could be any of the three things in front of them and nobody really knows what's going on. Let's sit down and talk. And sitting down and talking, yeah, it's a little bit contentious, but then we get to this point where it's like, hey, at the end of the day, we all
We're
believe
all
that
Democrats.
right, a Democrat's going to be a better answer in there. Independents can fuck right off. Because if you're too wishy-washy to make a decision over which side you actually believe in, should you be part of the grifters who only want the fucking Epstein class to succeed? Or do you want real people to fucking succeed? Because those are your two choices in the party. And if you have to be independent because you're kind of in between that means you're approaching the Epstein class. And I think you really need to read a book and touch some grass.
Oh,
So,
shit.
you know, make a decision. Be who you want to be. And the fact that we can have this conversation where it is, yeah, it got uncomfortable and it got a little bit spiky there for a minute. But you know what? It was all in the service of we need to get this out there. We need to get over this bullshit so that we can have the more productive conversations where we go, hey, this is what's happening with this company. They're bringing in money. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do this other thing. Let's stop them and let's do it in an educated, smart way. And that's when we all work together because I don't think there's anybody who can stand up to the four of us, honestly.
Facts.
Like,
That's good. Yeah.
like I may be willing to die on a hill, but I'd rather win from the hill. And, you know, that takes the front line. Cari, that's you.
Yeah,
It's like,
that is
we're going
me.
to pick our bulldog. We're going to pick we have infantry. We have tanks. We have the sneaky people, and then we have the people who throw glitter and distract the other enemy lines. So we're there. We got it all. But I do think it's really important that we have these conversations. And I'm mostly impressed with the fact that at the end of the day, at the end of this conversation, you know, we're 2.5 hours into this, and Alani's been with us for almost an hour. I don't think we are solved 100%, but I think we're at the point where now questions can be asked in a very simple way, answers can be given, suggestions can be made on how to get this information in front of more people so that it can turn the tide on these conversations that other people are happening. Because just like in a classroom, if one kid asks a question, it means 10 other kids had that question, but only one of them will ask. So if you know one person has this thought that this is what's going on, we got to get it out there because 10 others aren't going to come up and talk to you. We've got to get it in such a way that it's public and out there so that everybody can catch it and it can start to clear things up because we don't have a ton of time. We got 148 days.
That's it.
All right. 146 days until the election, which means we've got 120 days until ballots go out. So that's not a ton of time. 120
And by the
days
way,
is nothing.
let's say like we're pretty well primed. I think that we could, if we really worked hard enough and we got everybody on the same page, which is going to be like wrangling cats, but we could pull off a clean sweep on all three seats.
Data centers,
Absolutely.
data centers, data centers. If we focus on data centers, we bring people in. If you've got to become a data center hoe. Like I'm not even like,
I think we could literally
out of 100 people that I talk to, 97 are with me. 97. There's just 3 that are not with me, but it's data centers.
Cari, I agree. I think that that's a good unifying issue. And I think that that's what definitely gives us all a boost where we could very conceivably pull off a clean sweep here of all 3 seats. I want to plug Brian Miller. He, you know, is out there in Eastern Montana fighting for his life, man. Like that's not an easy seat to fight for.
He's right up the street.
I know, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not an easy district.
That's not an easy district.
And then, you know, Stanford Staga's got a good set of momentum.
District?
So, what's that?
Who knows about that Eastern District? Who's running that Eastern District before?
I mean, I would like to point out that I am from Missoula and I am plugging the Eastern District.
I'm from in the Eastern District.
That's
maybe we're not all so bad. I'm just saying, maybe Missoula isn't all bad, right? Like maybe we're
Well,
not
there's
all
there's
the
at
worst.
least two people there that I like, but both of them are named Allie. It's you and Allie Hay. So
Well, there you go. What can I say?
So,
Great names are alike. I don't know how that works, but anyway, but
yeah.
yeah, so that's what I'm most excited for is I feel like if we were able to really pull people together on
Yeah.
issues, we very well could pull off a clean sweep here. And I would love to see that. I would
I would
join you
too.
on the glitter committee for that party. There'd be glitter everywhere.
Mhm. Okay. So we are coming up on 3 hours of doing this. Well, Alani, thank you for joining us on this.
Yes,
I
thank
know it
you,
was
Alana. Yes,
Guys,
weird.
thank you,
thank you
thank you.
guys. You're all amazing. Thank you so much.
And
Okay, so
we're going to be
Kev,
doing
give
this, I
her
think, every week. Yeah.
every Wednesday. Will you give her my cell phone number? And I just want 5 minutes of your time, I promise, and then
I'll
I'm
call
done.
you.
Okay? Okay.
Okay.
And actually, Kev, can you send Allie my number in case you need it, Allie? Also,
Sure. I can do that.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
anytime.
Yeah, I
And
appreciate
by
it.
the way,
Well,
I
thank
don't
you
know
guys
if
so
my
much.
resting bitch face is too much, but like I'm actually like leaving this conversation like, oh, okay, I'm open. So I don't know if my outer is matching my inner, but I'm open.
No, I appreciate that, Cari. Just know I respect the hell out of everybody here. So if there's ever any doubt, please let me know. There's like 5 people on this planet I don't respect, and most of them are in the administration right now. So
Okay. So for everybody at home, if you watched along, thanks for doing it. And at least 3 of us will be back next week, and we'll probably have some more candidates join us because nothing says politics like making everybody answer questions. So I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.